What is up, everybody? Let's see if we can get to Lancelot today. That's some nice starting music. I can roll with that. Okay, look at us whiffing AP all day, by the way. Just chains. I don't actually think of anyone that needs them right now. Yeah, I'm not loved in the EU time zone. I'm just saying. Every once in a while, I really should try to stream though, like way earlier, just for that. But it's tough. Playing video games for a living. Oh God, it's so hard, chat. I can't handle it. No, we're not rolling on Van Gogh. Look, I'm happy to roll on almost anything right now, but I draw the line at Van Gogh. And the reason I'm happy to roll on anything right now is I need fucking KuCoins. But yeah, I'm not rolling on Van Gogh. You know, Bob, I roll on Bob, but not Van Gogh. Or Van No, really. If it was actual Van Gogh, I probably would roll on that. It is true, it is rare prisms, and this account needs rare prisms, actually. Funnily enough, I guess this account doesn't need KuCoins because we're trying to not use him. I don't even know why. I blame Ari. It was Ari's idea, and she doesn't even, like, she's not even here right now, right? And I'm over here like, yeah, we're Baldi and Proto-Ku. It's great. Bullshit. I've been had. I have been had. Okay. Speaking of Baldi, we do have archers here. Right, so what do we want to summon? I guess Berserker, whenever you're fighting this much stuff. I almost want to do Asterios, but I think we stick with Spartacus. Because we normally get Spartacus's NP and it helps. Killer account one of these days. The main reason why I'm not using Baldi much, we've used him some, but the main reason I'm not using him much is one, he's garbage, but two, because he just has no synergy with Stheno, and this account has very few units that have synergy with Stheno. Lancer is one of the only slots that we have that has synergy with Stheno, right? If we use Ku or Proto-Ku, that's like it. That's like all we got. And so if I replace that with Baldi, then I have like nothing to work with Stheno, right? And that just that's no fun. And you combine that with the fact that Baldi's not that good, then it's not ideal. Okay, I probably won't make a new account for a while because I'm kind of happy with this one, and we can still play around in the Herc account and stuff like that. So there's no need for a new account anytime soon. But if we ever do make another new account, I can guarantee you we're not going to be doing like Divinity with Stheno, right? We'll do something else. We'll pick like, you know, Gozen or something, or Atalante or whatever. And in that case, I will level Baldi. Like then, and for just for kicks, we will level Baldi on that one. But like I said, the main reason I'm not doing, I'm up for the challenge. It's really just because I've used Baldi plenty and I know what he's good and bad at. It's just yeah, the fact that like I can't afford to you know, not level one of the things that has Divinity, so. David does not have Divinity, which is kind of weird if you look, because they gave it to Martha, right, so. Okay. Sipping my tea here. Man, I hate that I don't look forward to doing Lost Belt 6, because I like doing, like, the Morgan boss fight, the Dog Juna boss fight, and like Fluffy. I'm looking forward to those, but there's just so much filler garbage. Like, I mean, all the stories, well, actually not all the stories, most of the stories have filler garbage in terms of gameplay, but Lost Belt 6 was just, I mean, it was packed with it. We need our own Berserker. We're getting to that point. Guess I'll do a lot of stuff at neutral. Okay, if David just dies because of the Lancers, just, oh well. Let's try to get rid of the Sabers. Actually gonna do Cope Scope. Maybe we do it like that. I mean, I'm just guessing. I don't know the order of the enemies. We're just winging it here. Hey, Chaos. Wait a minute. Didn't you just resub to me like 3 days ago? Because you're Frenzy Chaos, I'm pretty sure, like, what the hell? Are these just notifications gone wrong again? Do it like that, and there we go. Well, whatever. Nope, nope, not that one, not that one. Never that one. America has a lot of filler. The only story that doesn't have any gameplay filler is 5-2. It's the only one. Some of the other ones I don't have a lot. Like Camelot's not that bad. It does have filler, but it's got some, you know, it's decent. And honestly, Salem's not too bad because Salem's pretty short. It's got some brevity there. There are 6 enemies, so David comes in next, which means Lancer is what I want to kill the most. Do I just guts right now? You stupid short snake! God! Need to level those skills, man. It's like so much value, and it's just like, nah. They don't even have magic resist, and like this is more likely to succeed than fail, but it certainly doesn't feel like it. All right, well, let's see what Siegfried can do here with his 1-1-1 skills. I guess it depends on the unit, really, Otto, but I'd say for a lot of people, the 60%. I think people kind of sleep on 60% starting NP. Like, there's a lot of combos that it works really well with. Now, certainly sometimes it's completely pointless, but okay, at least she landed that. I wonder if she could insta-death this. Then we'll hit the saber. Maybe I should have done art. But, you know, 10%, like, or 2% buster and art is so minor that, like, who cares, right? Where an extra 10% can actually help. The thing is, in some units, though, the extra 10% would never help under any circumstance. And so, yeah, fuck it, might as well have the 2%, right? So it just kind of depends on the unit. But for me, if I had to pick, like, if I could spawn one of those on this account, I would spawn the 60% one, because I feel like that, the extra 10% is going to be more useful more often than 2% damage. Especially on an account like this that doesn't have Waver, it doesn't have Castoria, it doesn't have any of that stuff. Why just do the Brave Chain? You know, I need to kill this one. I need to just get that out of the way. And then I'll MP with Spartacus. Oh, don't start with that. Well, I guess we have Armor Ignore. So I guess they played themselves when you think about it. 70k. Yeah, it is kind of cool. You could be a unit with no battery, no self-battery at all, and you can have a 60% starting in PCE, and then have your passive unlocked, and you're at 80%, which means you can NP with just Waver's team-wide stuff, or Merlin's team-wide stuff, right, instead of the targeted, or Waver and whatnot, and that's pretty good. Well, David is not the good replacement unit, but oh well. The archer is going to be what matters, so I might as well start working on that. Or Shakespeare, except yeah, his is targeted though, that's the sad part. You know what, stupid game? Okay. It's okay for there to be top tiers in games because you can't do anything about that. Even if you nerf things, something else will just be the best, right? Something is always going to be the best. And I think when you make new units and things like that, trying to always make them on par with the best is a bad idea, and that makes a lot of problems. There just something has to be the best, and it's okay if that thing's the best. It's okay if Merlin is the best caster. It's okay if Ushi's the best budget, single target rider. That's fine. The issue is when you have units like Ushi that is, look at all that stuff. Upgraded NP, good multiplier. She's got attack up for the whole team, quick up for herself, NP gain for the team, evade. This is really good stuff here. And then you look at Geronimo, right? The issue is not the fact that Geronimo is not pound to pound like tied in value with Ushi. It's okay if Geronimo is forever behind Ushi in overall usefulness. That's okay. The issue is it's not even remotely close, right? Why does Ushi have all of that stuff? And oh yeah, I forgot, she has Star Bomb and Crit Up and all that too, excuse me. And then Geronimo's just like, yeah, I have Quick Up when I have one quick card, no quick NP. Then I have a one-turn Art Up, which that's actually kind of good. And then a one-turn Buster Up, which is not good at all. Like, that's it. That's it. That's it. Like, how is this a 3-star, right? Like, how is this a 3-star and you have Ushi and Ku and David, right? When they just have, just so much raw value, even though their skills are fairly simple and straightforward, right? But their total value is still incredibly high. Like, it's just nonsense, right? I'm not asking for like Jekyll and Hyde to be the new meta-defining budget unit, right? Like, we don't need that. But if he could do literally anything, that would be a start. And does anyone disagree? Because how I see it, after 6 years of patches, there is no excuse for this game to have units as bad as Jekyll and Hyde, right? I get it, early on game's life, they didn't know what they were doing, you make a misstep here and there, but it's been 6 years. There is no reason for there to be units like Geronimo, Jekyll and Hyde, Benkei, Phantom of the Opera, these incredibly bad units. There's no reason for that. They could have been fixed so long ago, so easily, right? Because obviously they make new units that sometimes miss the mark, and yeah, they're not meta, but they're still usable. Like, Baldy's not amazing, but Baldy is completely usable, right? And there's in times where he can shine, right? And even when they make new 5-stars that kind of miss the mark sometimes, they're still fine, they still work. Right, they can still kill things. The fact that we're 6 years in and we still have some of these just laughably bad. There's no excuse for Geronimo being in that state for 6 years. That doesn't make any fucking sense, right? It should be like that for like a month, and then it should be fixed, right? Because it's not hard to fix. Most of that stuff is just numbers. They don't have to do like some fancy new effect form or anything like that. And yeah, I just think it's dumb, right? Every game is gonna have high tiers, low tiers, and some characters that are the worst in the game, but you don't want your worst in the game to be that bad, right? There's no reason for your worst characters to be that fucking bad. What's really frustrating about Sabergilius is like he's so close to not being trash, right? Like he's like at the tipping point. He's right at the tipping point of being able to like actually be kind of good, but he's not quite there. Also, that Archer taking people out right there. Thankfully, Protoku can face tank it, even though he's got sure hit. He's counterclassing and he's got defense up, so it won't be a problem. I don't know why didn't I use this earlier? I should have used this like quite a while ago. Kinda too late now. Hey, Cairo. Yep, they always want, fixing a character to be a giant event, to be like a selling point, to be like a marketable hype thing. That instead of just, again, 6 years. 6 years, and we still have units like Jekyll and Hyde, Phantom of the Opera, Benkei, Geronimo, right? Like, they're 6 years. It makes no sense. Because even when new units come out that are kind of bad, they're never that bad. They're not even close to being that bad. And they fixed some units, so they know how to do it. They just, they haven't bothered. There's no world where like 120 fixes that stuff, because anybody can be 120. And then here's the thing, some units legitimately scale better with 120 than others, by a lot. Like Ku scales with 120 way more than Geronimo does. It's not even close. He gets so much more out of the extra attack stat with his NP, and if the extra health buys him more turns to get his cooldowns back in extra time, that's just so much better, right? Geronimo is just getting muscle value out of it. They no bonus, something special, right? Just the straight value you're always going to get out of higher stats. Raku gets that, and then potentially a lot more, right? And that's true for a lot of units, where like the really bad, the bad units get the least out of 120. Like easily, the bad units get the least out of 120 because they can do the least with their stats. You know, someone like Archer or Artoria who can just NP, right? The more you NP, the more you get that attack stat multiplier from your NP. So the more attack stat you have, the more the bonus is going to into effect, right? So a weaker unit is getting less and less out of it. And then even some, and that's not the only way to look at it though, because you have things like, oh, if you have more health, you can live long enough, like Beowulf, right? If Beowulf has more health, yeah, he's not going to be looping his NP or using it like 4 times, but maybe the extra health means he's able to get his burst off before dying at all, and as long as he gets his burst off, he's getting his job done, right? So there's more to it than that. But stuff like Geronimo and you know, Ben K, they don't get much out of 120 at all. Like the units off the top of my head that really get a lot out of it are burst units, looping units, and then just units that can capitalize on like raw value because they have a lot of survivability, like in Kidu, Ku, Fujino, stuff like that. So yeah, anyone with like big burst, anyone with like good sustain, and then anyone with survivability. Those get more out of it than everyone else. You know, everyone gets something out of 120, right? Everyone is better at 120. Actually, that's not true. That is not true. A VC Brawn is actually in many ways worse at 120. That would actually be really annoying because it'd be really hard. It would be really hard to get his 3rd skill off reliably. And you'd have to get it off an NP. You'd have to let the boss NP him. And that NP would have to not kill your teammates. But you don't want that. You don't want a VC Brawn dying to an NP. Because let's say the boss does an AoE NP and it kills everyone. Well, now a VC Brawn's 3rd skill doesn't hit anything. Or you had to do invulnerability to keep someone alive. And then a VC Brawn dies and he tries to give them invulnerability again and it no effects. Right? It's not good. You want him to die to normal card damage. But that's going to be harder to do if a VC Brawn's 120. And see, cheers by the way, but Herc isn't even exactly a burst unit or a looping unit, but he gets a lot of 120 because he just lives so long. So that he's applying that extra, and he's normally solo or last man standing. So he's applying those attack stats every turn over and over and over and over and over again. And even if he doesn't live an extra turn because of the extra health, which actually probably will, I think on average a 120 Herc will live 1 turn longer before the first guts goes off, right? And then gets down to minimum health. So he will live 1 turn longer at 120 generally, not always, but generally. And then he'll do more damage every single turn he is alive. So you get an extra turn and you're doing more damage per turn. And that's nuts, right? Like, I mean, 120 Herc would just be disgusting. And like, it just, that much damage every turn when you're guaranteed to live that long, I mean, there's just, that's really hard to match. Because Herc is one of those few units where it's just like, he's got a set amount of turns that he can live. Yeah, that emote is pretty awful, by the way. I guess that's for Halloween. Gee, the funny thing is that when you look at it from far away, you can't really tell what it is. You have to mouse over it to actually get the close-up. Otherwise, it just kind of looks like, I don't know, Nito Chris wearing a wool hoodie or something, right? Like you can't, it's hard to tell what the hell you're even looking at. I oftentimes don't like, though, the seasonal Rue emotes because the normal Rue emotes are just so good that, you know, it's kind of just like slathering shit on them. It's like, yeah, get that out of the way. You just want the normal emote. Now, there's some exceptions. Some of the seasonal ones have been very, very good. But yeah, some of them I'm kind of like, eh. Cairo, you can just stop talking or typing. You can just right now, you can just stop doing that. Maybe I'd bring, you know what, let's go Shakespeare. Where? What? Oh, I must have, why did I thought waiver? I don't know, give me FP. Alright, Shakespeare time. Can you get an animation update though? Don't you defend that mongrel. That heathen. Everyone knows where he was going with that text chain. Everybody knows what direction that was heading in. There's no pensive in here. Don't you bring that garbage into my chat. Then you got like some guy that like just is his first time watching my stream. You're like, what is wrong with this streamer? Just hating on this Cairo guy. What could possibly have brought that on? I wonder. Okay. I really need better stuff for Hans because I don't have his skills leveled yet, so his battery is weak. The Rue Dia mode is super good. That really hits the like vibe you want out of a Dia mode. Look at this, Cairo. Look at all these dumbass eyesight puns right now. Look at this. What did I do? You know exactly what you did. Good lord. Now you're just lying. Now Cairo's just straight lying. Like a serpent over here. Got the forked tongue. Watch this Hans chain though. I do. This Auto more blind than me apparently. Alright, Cairo. Out of all the air quote bad units in the game, you could pick one to get fixed. Like, and not just like, they're not gonna just get like a minor buff, they get actually fixed. They get a real touch up. Who would you pick? Jekyll, yeah, honestly, that's probably who I'd pick too. I think he's the most broken, and it's so unreasonable, and like he started that whole concept of like self buffers and everything, like with their NP, and he's just so bad. And he's super cool. He's so cool lore wise and character wise, but he's just so freaking bad. Dude, you know Geronimo got made without them actually thinking about it. Right, they like, oh, you know, it'd be cool if he did like every card up. Oh yeah, like shamanism and stuff. Yeah. But they didn't think about, wait a minute, what's the value here? Like the dude's just got an art NP, and we're giving him Buster and Quick Up. Right, like they clearly did not think about what they were doing with that one. I could Shakespeare NP right now, but I don't think we need to. Do this so we don't die. Yeah, I definitely think I'd pick Jekyll and Hyde because one, I'm biased in his favor anyway, but I really do think he needs it the most because as bad as like Phantom and stuff are, they are still better than Jekyll and Hyde. You know, at least he's got the buff removal, and that actually is a nice niche to have. You can do some AoE farming, I guess, kind of. So there's at least some positives, but man, there are no positives for Jekyll and Hyde. Because the thing about Geronimo is he at least has an upgraded NP and he heals everybody, and that's kind of nice. And his art up does work with his NP. And no, Geronimo being party wide would not be any better. I say this every stream. Do I even need to talk right now? Like every time we talk about Geronimo, somebody says, well, what if it was AoE or targetable? Every time. And like obviously that would not fix it. Like, and like, why would that fix it, right? It's like, yeah, all those quick art buster teams you run, yeah, that'll do it. Like, you normally run one card type, or you know, there's no direct synergy with your card types at all. But then you're still not gonna have every, you know, NP type. And then Geronimo, if you want art up, you're not gonna be in Geronimo. You're gonna bring Mozart. You're gonna bring Castor Arturia. You're gonna bring Hohenheim. You might, I don't know, Boudica, right? You're not bringing Geronimo. Yeah, this guy gives your art unit art up. And yeah, that's it for one turn. Great, right? Or quick up for one turn, right? The quick up would be better though, just because there's no proper quick support, but you're still gonna bring Alex instead, or maybe you have Atalante or something like that. Like, you're not bringing Geronimo just to give Billy the Kid quick up, right? Like, that's stupid. That's horrible value. Just use Hans at that point and just get the attack up within the straight battery, right? Like, that's way better. You know, Geronimo, I always say this, it's not even hard to fix Geronimo. People always try to, like, get fancy, or, like, they think too much inside the box. It's like, oh yeah, he already has quick up, so it has to be team-wide quick up, right? Like, all you gotta do to fix Geronimo is just give him normal shit that, like, everybody has. Put an evade on his third skill. He is so much better, right? Because now he'll always live to get his upgraded NP off with the damage up, you know, art up, right? That already makes him so much better. And then now if you want to keep making him better, like, you know, give him attack up on his first skill, or give him NP battery on his first skill, give him team-wide NP battery on his first skill, right? Give him guts on his first skill, give him debuff clear on his Star Bomb, right? Just add something normal that just does something good, and he's fine. Because he has an okay-ish stat line. He has an upgraded NP with a good effect on it. So that's a good base, right? And then the art up works with his art NP. So like those are like the foundations of a decent unit. It's just his first skill does nothing and his third skill does nothing. And although his second skill's okay, it's not good enough to carry, like, if let's say Geronimo's second skill was 100% attack up for 3 turns, the art up that it already has, and like stars every turn for 3 turns, and it's all in the second skill, Geronimo's a good unit now, even though his first and third skill do nothing, right? Yeah, it's boring that his first and third skill do nothing, but his second skill at that point would do so much that it's fine. The thing is, Geronimo's second skill doesn't do all of that stuff, right? It doesn't. It just does one okay thing, and then the other 2 skills do nothing. So it's just, you know, it's dumb. But yeah, the easiest way to fix Geronimo is just give him normal stuff, right? Just any kind of straight value that would help any unit. I think it's better though to focus on him being a damage dealer, because he's not a support, right? He's got like the heal on the side, and that's fine. But he's got an upgraded AoE NP, and he has an art up for it, which is rather large. So that's the makings of a damage unit, right? You want him to NP a lot, and then you get his like bonus healing for the team as like a side thing. So if he NPs more often, that's just better, right? So I'd rather see battery, NP per turn, you know, more damage, more survival, just something like that. Greedy. I'd prefer him to get greedy stuff, because it'd be pretty hard to salvage him as a support, because if you make him a support, his competition is Qin Gong, you know, Shakespeare, Mozart, and Mozart's insane now because they just buffed them, right? Hans, you know, Mash, David, you know, good luck making Geronimo good enough to, you know, keep up with that kind of stuff, right? Yeah, it's possible, but you'd have to just buff the crap out of him, so I don't think it's really the way to go. And now we see Hans getting shot across the battlefield at a Soul Eater. I like how our Qin Gong, though, is still in P1. So this is, like, not actually that worth it, really, but we're doing it anyway. If I just get Qin Gong to NP2, this will be a lot better. Here we go, chat. If we make Geronimo's art up team wide, he can overcharge Qin Gong's NP so it does more damage, and give him art up so it does more damage, and then supply the ammo. So there you go. That now Geronimo's good, right? You do Geronimo's NP, right? You overcharge Qin Gong's, got the art up, so then Qin Gong does even more damage. And now we're getting somewhere. 40k. It'd probably be like 55 or 60k if I just had NP2. Probably 60k, I think. Wish I had my Qin Gong second skill right now if I'd saved it. Get more battery. Yeah, they definitely should do full kit reworks when a unit is as bad as Jekyll and Hyde and stuff like that. They need to just redo it. They need to just add so many things and change so much about the unit. I really wish they would do that. I hate how they have like this like standard of what they think they should do with a buff, right? And then some units are just so bad that it's just is not enough. Because here's an example: Castor Gilius. Castor's Gilius buff is really good. That's a pretty impactful buff. But that still doesn't put him in like the running for actually being used, right? Now, if he gets another buff in combination with the one he just got, then he's in the running for being used, right? But like right now, it's like, yeah, he gained some raw value and that's good, but he's so behind everybody else that that's not enough. Okay, this thing should die here. Yeah, I know, it's true. What Kyra just said is completely true. There are very few really bad units. That's why it's so annoying that those few really bad units have just been sitting there for 6 years. Because none of the like newer units are bad. Sometimes they miss the mark, or there's not much reason to use them in comparison to something else. But if you like them and just want to use them to fight stuff, it's fine, right? There really only is a well, wow, we didn't kill it, and not only did we not kill it, we didn't stun it, even though we had the overcharge. So now we have to wait another turn. That's rather unfortunate. Anyway, yeah, it's kind of ridiculous that there's only a few bad units and they've been bad for so long, and then as Kari said, they buff so slowly and randomly. I mean, half the time, like newer units get buffed that don't need it half as much. You know, like you know, Okita gets buffed, right? Okita's fine. Right? Okita was completely fine, and then meanwhile, Jekyll and Hyde just sitting there. Yeah, Ozzy got 2 buffs like back to back, just boom boom. I actually think Okita Saber before her buff was one of the best Sabers in the game, and depending on like what units you have on your own account, like if you have Scatty and Waver and stuff, she probably was the best Saber in the game. And then now she's buffed and it's just absurd. Like pretty much I've over the years I've compared Okita to Masashi a lot. And I've done it in solos, I've done it in team setting, I've done it in burst challenge quests, I've done it in long-term challenge quests. Like I've done it all over the place, and it's something I kind of revisit, you know, pretty often from time to time. And generally, Okita wins every time, and then sometimes they tie. Like sometimes they just straight tie, but I'm not sure. The only times I've ever seen Masashi do better is when it's a challenge quest or something that directly rewards buff removal, right? Because obviously Masashi has that, you know, or if it's got Masashi's niche, but that doesn't come up for her that often, and then you're normally better off using a different unit. But almost always, I mean, never does Masashi do bad, by the way. It's not like Masashi is performing like crap or something. Generally, Masashi actually is like, wow, she's doing really damn good. But normally Okita does just as good or better. Like, Okita is just so strong. Like, she's vanilla as fuck, but the raw value is just undeniable. And then now that she's got this recent buff, I think she's just absurd. I think she's completely absurd. I don't think they'll buff Okita again after that last one, because they buffed her, you know, with that first skill upgrade, and with this other buff. I don't think they're gonna buff her again. I mean, maybe because she's popular and people seem to still think she's bad for some fucking reason, but Trapface normally does pretty well in like solos and stuff. But I generally don't see him keeping up with Masashi in team play, but it depends. You know, obviously, here's the thing: Trapface, Okita, Masashi. They all are so good that ultimately what's going to make the difference between them is what you have. Do you have art support? Do you have quick support? Right? Like what are you working with? Right? Because if you've got like double Scatty available to you, obviously Trapface and Okita are going to do better than Masashi. But let's say you've got Merlin and Bench, but you don't have Scatty, or you don't even have Waver, right? And then obviously Masashi's going to do better. Right, so, and even if you have none of the rare stuff, I'll say this, if you have none of the rare stuff, normally art is best. Like, that's pretty universal from what I've seen, is when you have nothing OP, it generally goes art, buster, quick. Now, sometimes quick wins just because the quick unit is so good, but in terms of like what you're able to supply them, if the units are kind of close to each other, it generally goes art, buster, quick. Like, art's best, buster's second, and buster's second because of Chen Gong. But yeah, quick is last, like by so much. If you've got Okita and then everything else on your team is budget, what your ability to support her is the worst. Now Okita's so good that you can make it work no problem, and thankfully Hans works exceptionally well with Okita because she likes critting. But not every quick unit's about critting. Like absolutely, not every quick unit's about that. And sometimes Hans is just not the right unit for the job, right? You just have an RNG attack up and you know that. And heal, which is good, but in the battery, of course. But some units don't need that, right? Some units don't need the 10% battery every turn. They don't need the the heal. Like in some fights, you don't need a heal, right? It's not about the unit not needing the heal. Some like boss fights, you don't need the heal. Yeah, the reason why Ku is so good is because Ku is so good, right? It wouldn't really matter if you know, it's not because he's quick, right? Although it kind of works for him because he doesn't. Ku's gameplay is very self-reliant. and a lot of times you use him as last man standing, and you're not going to have a support. And if you have no support, then Quick is actually normally the best. At least Quick NP, anyway, which is kind of funny. But yeah, art units are blessed. Art units are really blessed, because if you have no rare supports on your account, you have Mozart, which is just super good. You've got Hohenheim, who's also super good. Like, your options there are just really, really strong. And art is also just good. Art is inherently good because you can NP a lot without you don't need Cast Story or Waver to NP a lot with art units, right? So it just works out really well. Buster's really close though, and sometimes Buster's better just because Chen Gong is so good. He's got team-wide defense up and team-wide damage cut. He has a targeted taunt, which that's so useful. He's got Giant Buster up, right? And then you can cycle if you want to, but you don't have to. And thank you, Young, for the 100 bits. I forgot to log into FGO yesterday. Playing too much New World feels bad. Well, it's honestly not that bad if you miss out on a streak in FGO. People like freak out, but it doesn't really matter. Like, you know, you get that summon ticket one day later. Oh no. Okay, let's see. But I've been playing like EDF, Earth Defense Force, with my friends, and you know, Arc Knights and stuff. So that's what I've been doing off stream anyway. Dude, I love Earth Defense Force. That is like, I'm so glad that like if you play in higher difficulties, that game is actually hard, right? Like, because it wouldn't be that fun to me if it wasn't. But it gets pretty dicey in that game, and I love it, right? You have to, there's like things to learn and reasons to get better and experiment, because that game gives you like so much equipment, and you have a reason to experiment with it because the game is actually hard. So. Funny, the game always, if you read the difficulty descriptions, it tells you to play normal mode first, but we never do that. We always play, like on brand new characters, we always play hard mode first. But it's scaled just fine for that. Like, you can completely play hard mode on your first playthrough. The difficulties above that, though, you absolutely cannot. It's like the stats are just so bullshit if you try to do the even higher stuff. You know, I don't even think Vinch and Oberon, though, are that good. They're very good for farming, and they can be good for challenge quests. Like, they absolutely can be. But they're not, I do not see Vinch and Oberon, like, accomplishing things that couldn't already be accomplished before without them, right? They just give you an alternate route and stuff. But some people are like, oh, they're so meta-defining. They're not. Like, Castoria is still way more meta-defining. So many spiders, yep. Spiders are pretty awful in those games. I have not finished Tales of Arise yet. I only play it on stream, so, well, I do like side quests off stream, but I haven't done anything off stream. I'll play more soon. I kind of just got wrapped up in Arc Knights and stuff, and I only have so much time to stream every day, so I just haven't had time for it. It's not like I don't want to play it. It's just not enough time in the day. And you know, it is fun to play some other games. I mean, Arc Knights has been a blast. I've been enjoying that, but I can take a break, right? We beat Chapter 5, so I could take a break from Arc Knights, play some other games. Alright, what are we doing here? So Caster, Buster, Assassin. I think we start with Hans. Nah, let's do Chin, because Buster up. And until Hans gets his third skill upgraded, he's good, but he's not that good right now. Man, I need to level my Ushi. That's been a pretty consistent problem. Chen just needs to live on this team. He's not gonna NP. Alright, should be fine. Yeah, I do think Vinch is better as a burst support than Scath is. They have a very similar role where they have lots of upfront value, and then they fall off like a motherfucker, and so if you don't beat the stage pretty quick or cycle them, they're bad. And like, I really stand by that. If Vinch or Scatty is like your only strong support on the team, and you don't win in the first few turns, they suck. Vinch sucks less, but they suck. Now, how you make up for that suck is like Chen Gonging them, or using the Switch Mystic Code, or having Taunt Craft Essence on them and they die, and then you bring in something else that isn't dead weight. But both Vinch and Scatty, you know, they use their burst and then they're not really useful anymore. But Vinch is more useful in the long run than Scatty is. Like, absolutely. However, I think Scatty is still actually a better burst and because quick just scales better. Like there's just no, quick up is just better than Buster Up. That's just a fact, because quick up gives you just as much damage as Buster Up gives you, but then it also gives you star gen and NP gain. It's just better, right? When you hit that critical mass, now that doesn't always happen. You might use quick up and you don't hit that critical mass where you're refunding your own NP and stuff like that, and it's not worth it. But when you do like double scatty, right, and you've got like Lancelot, Edmund, you know, all those units, the kind of value you get out of that is bigger than a bunch of Buster Up in raw battery. Like, of course, raw battery is nice, but it doesn't make stars. You know, it doesn't do that, right? It doesn't make extra NP gain. It's just battery and just damage, which you can already get that with quick up, if you're able to get it to that point, right? Like if you're able to hit that critical mass. But both Scatty and Vinch need to be cycled. Like that's just you don't want them hanging out a long time. It's not good. You know, you're way better off having them die from a taunt, like Poster Girl, right? Have Poster Girl equipped to them, or switch Mystico to get rid of them, or Qingong yeet them, right? You overwhelmingly want to do that with them. Yeah, it's true. Quick scales like a motherfucker, but some Buster units are just broken. That's true, obviously. Like some Buster units, you know, if you're just able to give them a good support, it's just insane, right? Because they're just so good anyway. Like Hot Wheels and shit like that. They're just so nutty, and Gajuna, right? All those units are so strong that if they have a support that's even remotely in the realm of like what Scatty can do, it's super strong. However, that's true for Quick too. That's the thing. It's still true for Quick, right? That's why it kind of a lot of times it boils down to what units do you have, right? Because if you're giving Okita, you know, the best quick supports you can, that's just insane value, especially if it's a situation where a Saber is good, right? Same for you know, a lot of quick units. There's a lot of disgustingly strong quick units, but yeah, that's why it's good to have all of the supports. If you're trying to be meta OP disgusting nonsense, you just want all the supports and all the DPS, so you can just pick what's best for the circumstance. But the thing is, you don't need any of them. That's the thing. You can get through this game without any of that. That's why I don't know why people get so like obsessed with it, right? Like who cares if, like literally who cares if Vinch is slightly better than Scatty, or Scatty's slightly better than this, or if, you know, it's like it doesn't matter. All of the top end supports are so good, and the top end DPS are so good that you can murder anything with any of them. So wow, one did it one turn faster than the other one. Whoop-de fucking do. Hey Carps, thank you for the 8 months sub, dude. I appreciate it. You can't tell with me not being able to articulate a sentence there, but you know, I do appreciate it. Honestly, when it comes to supports, there's like no, if they're all too strong. That's ultimately all of the supports are stronger than they should be. They're all stronger than the game calls for. Castoria's bullshit, Merlin's bullshit, Scatty's bullshit. Well, she's a little less bullshit to be honest, but she's still bullshit. You know, Vinch's bullshit. They're all bullshit, right? They're way too strong for what the game actually demands of you. Where some of the direct comparisons matter more and can be more obnoxious is DPS, right? Because there's a lot of like top end DPS that are just a lot better than some of the other ones. And that's like more impactful. With the supports, it's like you can make any of them work. Like I don't know why people are always saying Quick is dead or Buster is dead when it's like they have no problems melting challenge quests, right? It's like who cares? Nero Bride's really disgusting too. Where Nero Bride really excels though, first off, Nero Bride is actually one of the best DPS in the game. That's what everyone misses, is Nero Bride is one of the best Saber DPSs in the game. Like she's the art Okita, right? That's what she is. The one thing though in terms of support where Nero Bride is way behind everyone, let's say the only rare support on your account is Nero Bride. That's it. That's all you've got. Or like you don't even have one and you're summoning a friend's Nero Bride. She's not that good, right? She's a good DPS, right? But she's not like, oh wow, look at all the support she's doing. She's something to enhance already busted supports, right? She's extra NP gain up, she's extra attack up, she's an extra battery, you know, but she's not as nearly as much battery as like, you know, Waver or Castoria. It's not nearly as much, you know, raw value. She enhances the already existing units, right? And then she's a disgusting DPS. Because here's the thing, I remember, anyone that's been playing this game for a while, did anyone else notice this? There was a period, right, when it was, let's say, like when it was just Tam, Waver, and Merlin, when those were the busted supports, there weren't enough busted supports to have 5 busted supports and 1 strong DPS. right? You could have like 2 or 3 busted supports and then some whatever, right? Now, because of Nero Bride and, you know, Reigns and Castoria and everything else, now you can have 5 just absolutely top of the line nonsense units and then 1 DPS and then just cycle them all, and it's bullshit. Like, that's the meta. That's literally the meta of FGO, is the best DPS you got for the job because they have a niche or they're the right class or whatever, and then just the 5 most broken supports in the game that are being cycled because of Chin Gong or the Switch Mystic Code or a Poster Girl or a combination of these things, right? That's literally what it is. Go watch any like of the people trying to show off doing challenge quests and 3 turns and stuff. It's almost always that kind of stuff. It's 1 DPS, 5 completely top end supports, and then the best ways you like to cycle them. Sometimes it's 2 DPS and 4 support, but almost always it's that. You know, it's any combination of Merlin, Waver, Castoria, Nero Bride, Reigns, Finch, Ober. It's all that stuff, and it's 5 of them, right? And then just cycling them because it's just so much battery, it's just so much stat up that, you know, you're just go, and then it's over, right? And it's dumb because it gets boring, right? You know, when you kind of figure out that's what it is and you know how it works, and it's not very interesting to me. You know, some people enjoy it and they just enjoy breaking the game, and that's fine. You know, more power to them. You know, have fun. But you know, to me, the high end stuff like that is not even hard to do once you've, you know, seen it done once. It's not complicated, and you just moduling. You know, it's a module, right? You just kind of adjust based on the stage. It's like, oh, because of this, and this, that means Merlin is slightly better. So instead of Vinch, I'm gonna use Merlin, or like, oh, it's okay, instead of Merlin, I'm gonna use a Nero Bride, or, you know, who cares, right? It doesn't fucking matter, right? It's the same pieces, and it's not even that many pieces, and it's just so straightforward in how they're used, and it's like, whatever, right? And normally, the whole point of those kind of setups is to beat the challenge quest so fast that most of the annoying things the boss doesn't catch up with you. You know, if you win in 3 or 4 turns, or even 3 or 5 turns, you know, if the boss is debuffing constantly, that doesn't really catch up with you, right? If the boss has huge normal card damage, you win before it finishes you off, right? So you don't have to deal with it, right? That's the whole point, is just win before you have to deal with the actual mechanics of the fight, which, that's not fun. I like having to deal with the mechanics of the fight. Look at all this battery, though. Should get my MP again. Probably won't kill, though. The thing is, damage event CEs favor meta stuff big time, because if you don't have meta supports and things like that, or you just don't want to use them or whatever it is, starting with 0 NP it can be a real problem, right? Because there might even be parts of the fight where it's like, oh man, this first health bar you need to get through quick because of this, and this, or like that one enemy you need to kill it right away. But if you're starting with 0 NP, it's hard to do that. But if you have meta supports, you can just get your NP. You know, you can do, you know, 2 of the 50% battery people, which there are many of. There's even some with more than that now, right? It's not a big deal, right? Yeah, you're long term, like getting the ball rolling, sometimes you have to like put a bit more raw battery in the back when you could have done more damage, but I mean, like, who cares? It normally doesn't matter. Yeah, damage CEs definitely make things harder for like free to play, because it just limits their options. The only time it doesn't is when the event CE happens to be something that's really good. Like, if it's like, it has starting NP on it and like damage up. It's like, it's just naturally a C, like Golden Sumo, right? If Golden Sumo is the event CE, you don't really mind because it's pretty easy to work in Golden Sumo anyway. It's like, oh no, I have to use Golden Sumo on my DPS, right? It's not really that big of a deal. I've never failed a challenge quest on any, like on my main account, right, for any event. I've done every challenge quest that's ever existed. I just don't always beat them in a way that I'm happy with, right? Like sometimes I don't make it as budget as I would like, or something like that, or I have to use units I didn't want to use or whatever. Like, but I've never not finished a challenge quest. And the thing is, not to toot my own horn, but it's like, I know what I'm doing, and not only am I good at the game, but, you know, I've built up my units, I've got good options, right? So there's just never, like, even Fluffy and stuff like that, if I go balls to the wall and I use everything that I have available to me, it's not even hard, right? Like I can destroy it. The reason why sometimes I'll get stuck on something or have a really hard time with something is because I'm handicapping the shit out of myself. Right? I don't use my Waver, I don't use my Scatty, I don't use my Merlin, I don't use my MLB K-Scope, I don't use my Poster Girl, right? I don't use that stuff. And so that can make things hard. But if I wanted to just cheese everything, I would not have, I could literally destroy every goddamn challenge quest that ever existed. Oh yeah, I know. Summer BB does not remove RNG at all. She actually is the... it's really weird that people say that. It's because they don't know what they're talking about. What Summer BB does is she enhances good RNG, and she makes good RNG insane. But she's useless if you don't get the good RNG to begin with. Like, so she doesn't affect RNG in any way. She doesn't affect it in any way. It's just if you get bad RNG, it's worse than normal, because then you have a dead unit. And then if you get good RNG, it's way better than normal, right? She is literally the RNG unit. Dude, I remember, I'm not gonna say their name because I don't want to get into drama here, but I remember watching a streamer, this was a long time ago, maybe 2 years ago now, and they were saying how, you know, BB removes RNG and stuff, and they were doing a challenge quest, and they were doing the Summer BB setup, and they were having to just reset over and over and over and over until they got the good hand to make it work. Because if they didn't get that good hand, they would just lose, because they would, if they couldn't, their setup is so reliant on 3 turning the challenge quest. I think they were using Melt as the DPS, and like it was like there were the classes, it was like, you know, everything, it was like different cavalry classes, right? So Alter Ego was good. And but if they couldn't get the ball rolling like right away, they were just sitting there with no value, no defense, and they would just die, right? And it just wouldn't work. Where if they got a lucky hand with like the first 2 turns, actually, I think it had to be the first turn, I don't remember. But anyway, if they got it in like the first turn, then they could just go and win before they would die, right? But it's like, that's how Summer BB is all the time. Where it's like, to capitalize on what she does, the setup has to rely on her being able to do it like in a certain time. And if they don't, you're just sitting around doing nothing, and your burst supports aren't doing anything, and it's like, it just sucks, right? So she does not remove RNG in any way. Like, she's quite the opposite. She actually adds insane RNG, but when you get that good RNG, then you win harder than like you ever could, because then you can basically be in a solo, like where you get your Brave Chain over and over again, but then you also have buffs from teammates, right? Which is just disgusting, right? So she can enable some of the absolute most broken stuff ever, but it requires the most RNG like out of any high-end setup, where what actually removes, this is how you actually remove RNG. It's where your entire team is reliant on NPs that refund themselves, because you don't need luck. It doesn't matter if you draw your art card, because you're going to refund anyway, right? Like, hey, look, I have double Castoria, maybe Nero Bride, and then Waver, right? And you're cycling those. So, and you have an art NP, and it's doing so much damage, it'll always break the health bar, and it's getting so much refund, it'll always get the NP back. So you don't care what normal cards you draw, right? And because the fight's going to end so quick, you can front load your survivability. By the way, that's another reason why like the Whaley bullshit setups are actually way easier, is because you can just burst all your survivability and then the fight's over. So you don't die, right? Because you have some bosses like God Juna or whatever that just do fluffy, right, that do huge damage, where if you can win really fast, you can just use whatever survivability you have, be it the stun from the Switch Mystic Code, the unit's personal survivability, your Merlin's invulnerability, whatever it is, you just use those things, and then once you're out, the fight's over. So you don't need to have taunt, you don't need to have guts, you don't need to have, you don't have defense up, you don't need any of that, right? The fight's done. You know, just burst it all, there you go. Yeah, there really is the best support stuff for moving RNG is definitely Castoria, like definitely. Because it's so much battery, you get your MP right away without needing to get your art cards, and then you can refund so much that you don't need your art cards. Yeah, I would say easily Castoria is what removes the most RNG in the game, because there's just so much value. Like, and that's the thing, because even budget setups, there's a lot of budget setups I've made that can win no matter of RNG, because the team has enough value that even if something goes wrong here or there, it'll still win because of all the other like value that it has, right? So it can weather bad things happening, right? And that's generally my goal with any setup, is try to make it as much value as possible, so if things go wrong, it'll still, you know, work at least as best as I can get it. Right now, some fights are just unfortunately, the way some challenge quests are designed for budget setups, there's just some inherent RNG that you can like never do anything about. Like there's been multiple fights like that where it's like, okay, on turn 1, if this happens, it's just there's nothing you can do about it, and then that it just doesn't work, right? Every once in a while, there's content like that. Thankfully, it's not. Is this Lancelot? I know you fight him twice. This might be Lancelot. We'll treat it like it is. He might have Enforcement Knights. Okay, so if it is Lancelot, he's basically a ruler, so I can use whatever class I want. Berserker's the best, but I'm not sure we're gonna do that. He always attacks the person with the most health, except for his NP, which hits whatever. He's immune to debuffs. So, if I gotta keep it bronze, I'm thinking... Honestly, Caligula would be good if I had Mozart leveled. Or I just had Star Bomb CEs. Like, no joke, Caligula is actually good for the Lancelot fight, because you can just blow him up. Like, you can absolutely just blow them up. But my account does not have, I don't have Hans ready, I don't have Star Bomb CEs, I don't have Mozart's third skill, right? So I don't have the things to enable them on a budget setup, which sucks. But, okay, so Gareth is fine, even though she's not counterclassing, although I can't remember, I think Lancers still are bad. I don't remember, I know he changes to being like a ruler, but I think there's still something bad about them. I think they still take the double damage or something. So archers, I think, might still take half damage themselves. I don't remember. We'll find out. So if it is archer, just Paris. That's your only option. Lance. No, it can't be Lancer. So Ushi is an option. Honestly, Babbage is kind of an option these days. 100 Face would be an option. Oh wait, no wait. Those are 3 stars. What am I saying? They have to be 2 stars. Excuse me. Okay, wait a minute. What the fuck are my best options then if it has to be 2 stars for those classes? So, Blackbeard's kind of okay, but not that great because he's AoE. I might have to go Berserker then. There's Salami, actually. She's not too bad. If I can protect her, she's actually just fine here. The Salami, Caligula, maybe even Asterios, to be honest. Spartacus is kind of okay. It's just Kojiro. Yeah, man, these are some rough options. Maybe Paris. It might just be Paris, just because he has decent straight nuking. Wait, he's immune to the weakness mark. Yeah, because he's immune to debuffs. So, I'm kind of leaning towards Salami, actually, like unironically, with these restrictions. I would say Caligula if I had better supports, but because I don't, it's either Salami or I summon something like Hans or whatever and use my units. And I just use like a budget support. I'm gonna try Salami. I actually think that could work, because I'm pretty sure he's lawful good. Let me make sure about that. Although I do need to deal with I think the first time you fight him, he might have Enforcement Knights. I'm not sure though. Yeah, he's lawful good. Yeah, I'm gonna do Salami. We'll see what happens. The question is, can I protect her? Because we don't have Leonidas leveled. I know it uses the same icon as George's trait thing, but I'm pretty sure the weakness debuff does not work the same way. But I could be wrong. I haven't actually tested that in a while, but I don't want to test it right now because we have the whole first try thing going on right now, and I don't want to use up my first try testing something. Because there's several debuffs that use the same icons, but they don't have the same properties. But I actually, off the top of my head, I'm not 100% sure how the game calculates the weakness debuff, but if I was a betting man, which I guess with the whole first try thing we're doing right now, I kind of am, it's not worth risking. I'm actually looking at how it's handled. It has a 500% chance to inflict it. It says it's a debuff, so I don't think it's like George's. Like I don't know. The wiki can be inconsistent with that. You probably have to check Atlas database to know for sure. But it's called the debuff, so I would kind of think that it would. Yeah, George's is unique. George's NP is really rare with the way that it works, honestly. And it's weird because he's a day 1 unit, so I'm surprised that he gets that kind of value. Gets mash. Yeah, George's is kind of like a buff. Let's see, so I'm kind of worried the Enforcement Knight. I almost want to not start with Salami. You really, I don't know, that gets really awkward though. What's our straight value against Lancelot? We don't have a lot of it, to be honest. If I could make him a dragon, this would actually, unironically, be pretty solid. I could start with that, but that just gets so super awkward. We got Saber Alter pretty early on this account. We might level her at some point. The only reason I'm not... If I hadn't gotten Siegfried, we would have made her our Saber, because I like never use her, and that'd have been unique. And she's useful for farming. Like, it'd be a fun starting Saber. But I had Siegfried right before her, so I just using that. But she'll probably be, like, leveled at some point, though. I'm actually kind of sad about that, because, like, none of my accounts get Saber Alter, right? She's pretty rare. And it'd be kind of... I would have been interested to see how she would have performed as my main... Saber. That'd have been interesting. Stheno is not as good. Her drain works and the buff removal works, but neither of the charms would work, and the defense down wouldn't work either. That's not as good. What's my last man standing here? Don't have a good option for that. Ooh, this might be tough. Lancelot is not normally the one that gets you, but I know for a fact from past experience, Lancelot can be really hard with like restrictions on your support, where you can't summon an Avenger or something to carry you. It can be pretty nasty. I'm not confident in that pick there. She was more leveled, sure. Actually, let's give that to George. Give her Parted Sea. Oh boy. I don't know about this. See, if I could use 3 stars for my support list, I would summon Darius, and that would work really well. Because not only is he a berserker and he has pretty solid normal card damage, he has guts. So that would work very well. Do I cast her 3rd skill right away? The only issue with that is it might actually go off while we're fighting these guys. This is where I really wish George had his 1st skill ranked up, so he had the cooldown reduction on it. Because he's not necessarily going to die when he just taunts. I guess I'll cast it. Let's see what happens. I don't know about that though. That's an awkward one. You know what? I could cast her 2nd skill and then wait 1 turn to taunt, because she'll be safe for 1 turn. And she's not going to get much use out of the 2nd skill for a while, so I might as well use it now. What I should have done was cast it first though, and then cast the evade, but I wasn't planning on doing that. That was actually kind of weird that we're doing that, but I think it's okay. And the reason I should have reversed the order is because there's a chance she'll get attacked twice. Now she'd probably, if she gets attacked twice, she'll probably just heal it back anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. But she can get triple crit. Right? Obviously that's very unlikely, but it could happen, right? So it would have been better to have the invulnerability. But it's fine, she'll have the damage cut, the evade, and then if she takes damage, she'll heal. Alright, we're fine. I almost want to, you know what? I'm going to wait to taunt again because George hasn't taken any damage and she'll still have the evade here. Getting a little ballsy here, but I think it's alright. I think I should have delayed her third skill though. I think it is going to go off too soon. Okay, now we taunt. If George, or if David had his NP right now, I'd be a little bit more confident in this timing working out, but not to be. Big part of me wants to just Brave Chain on Salami to try to get rid of that guy, but I need to make sure David gets his NP as fast as possible. I guess I need to have her NP. I'd like to save it for Lancelot though. Depends on if I think her third skill will go off, because then I might as well. 4 turns. Well, I'll have David NP now. I have time to make up my mind. Because David's doing it, no question. Dude, I wish they'd add a challenge mode. Dude, Arc Knights. So apparently Arc Knights, so they've always done this where when you beat a story, you have challenge mode versions of all the nodes that just make it a bit harder. And they're mostly just for fun. They don't really give you anything, but they're just for fun. And that's really cool. But then apparently later down the road, they went back and like they call them like hell stages, and they added hell stages to each chapter. And they're kind of like challenge quests for each chapter. So and you can do those anytime. And they're also just there for fun. So like they kind of went back to their main story and added in a challenge quest for each one of them. And I'm like, can FGO do this stuff? Like, goddamn. Yeah, they give you some premium currency, it's true. They give you like one of those little orb things. But, you know, that's not really that big of a deal. I mean, every stage gives you one of those. And then they also give you other things, right? So, ultimately, the challenge stages are pretty unimpressive when it comes to their rewards. But it's fine. Like, it's not a big deal. Alright, 3 turns. I could NP this guy. It probably won't kill him. And then I could start refunding. But I probably won't. Let me think. 3 turns. So I could just art chain with David. If I get to the point where I know it's going to go off, I'll just have her NP and finish it off. So in the meantime, I'll get NP on David. Like, Arc Knights is a much smaller company, and they make a lot less money. And you know, Arc Knights, you know, sometimes they have slow months and stuff too, and all that. It's just, you know, you can tell that they like do things just because, and they do it just to make the game better. It's like, what if we made like these little challenge quests that we put in the main story that you kind of go back to those old chapters for, like, but you know, FGO just they don't do any of that. Yeah, I actually don't mind George living there. I do want to cycle a taunt, but it's not too bad. If I cast her second skill, I have no way of getting another defense thing on her. But she'll still have the damage cut. I don't know, I might need to just NP this guy. If only George had his skill ranked up, I'd be feeling more confident. Yeah, I don't know, maybe I should have just NP'd there because David couldn't even get NP gain on that one. Ooh, we going right for the goods. Bastard. Oh, that is not good. Do I have to NP this guy? Yeah, I have to. This is the turn it goes off anyway. Man, I didn't accomplish like what I wanted to accomplish there. Crap. Oh, that sucks. She'll still get some decent value. It's just not nearly as much as we could have. We're just a little too slow. I should have done our quick card first just to make some stars. I didn't really think about that. Man, I should have put Siegfried in here like sooner, because George is gonna turn him into a dragon. Actually, I guess we can test. I've done this before. I'm pretty sure. I'm quite confident the dragon thing still hits. Okay, do I use her third skill? There's not a lot of chance that we would go around the wheel. I mean, I might as well. She doesn't have her second skill anymore, so you at least get the heal. Sadly, she can't do her curse thing, but that's not why we brought her. We literally brought her for just straightforward nuking because he's lawful good. Like, that's literally what we brought her for. We would never be able to, with just a single one of her, we would never get like a curse thing going. Now, I wish we could land the curse as a bonus because it does add up, but we're not going to be able to do that. Okay, so he is going to attack David. So should I use his first skill? Yeah, I think I use his first skill. The longer David is considered the priority target, the better, actually. So yeah, definitely do that now, because he won't take much damage. None of these effects, like the overcharges, are good. None of them are good. None of them... David's is the worst, because I actually don't want to skill seal him. And then George's is pointless, because defense up only lasts one turn, and he can't be attacked here. And then the curse overcharge is pointless because you can't debuff the boss, so. You know, the defense up is pointless. The defense up would be good if we had taunt, because taunt overrides his gimmick, right? He'll attack the taunt over the highest HP person. But, you know, I guess I could have just not used George's NP, actually. I could have just saved it. Because, again, there's no point in overcharging, right? I don't have, like, someone that benefits from it, so I could have just held on to it. That way, you know, whenever George does taunt, he'd have an extra defense up, and maybe he lives an extra turn. You're not that likely, but... Yeah, see, you can turn him into a dragon. Wow! She fucked him up! That lawful good thing is no joke, because normally her NP damage is a joke, right? Like, generally, she doesn't do anything. That is something, though. Well, that worked out. I think I made a good pick, then. No shit, like, that went well. Should be fine now. So he's going to attack David again. Actually, that's Art Chain. Yeah, you can see she can't debuff him. Hers no affected, but George's works. Now, you fight Lancelot again, but I don't think you actually fight him, like, back to back like you do the other knights. I think you have to wait a little bit. Yeah, I might be wrong, though, but I think that's how it was. Okay, if I taunt with George, that'll override David being attacked. So, actually, right now, David wouldn't be attacked. He has slightly less health than Salome, so we'll taunt now. You know, I could just NP, and he might even die there, but let's get hers. Wow, we got an Art Chain, might as well take it. Oh, right, she got her attack up. It's not just her NP. She'll get the bonus damage on her normal cards. I was like, wait a minute, why did she just do so much damage? But that is why. Wow, she did very well here. Alright, he dead. The next fight with him, I'm pretty sure there's no Camelot Knights, and he just has more health. Which, if I'm telling you, if you don't have a good Berserker or Avenger, that's a big deal. But, you know, a ruler having more health is meaning you're doing, it's doubly effective. Each point of health is actually worth twice as much. But, Salome seems to get the job done there. We'll see, maybe we ban Salome for the next fight, because, you know, she didn't exist back then, and kind of like with Mordred, you know, Mordred needed kind of a handicap. Maybe we'll give Lancelot one. That way the next vote is more... I feel like if I don't handicap myself, there's going to be no tension, right? So chat, this is something I find kind of funny, and it's actually a good thing though, and because Camelot's pretty early in the game, right? So I know this game really well, right? Some people will say otherwise, but I know this game really well. I think the proof's in the pudding. You know, I'm not even getting carried. Yeah, I'm summoning 2 stars, right? For God's sakes. And this account is never farmed, and I can handle this no problem. And we're gonna keep it up, right? I know what I'm doing this game. I know how to beat challenge quests. I know how the units work. I understand synergy, right? But so some of Camelot is easier because we have, you know, units have been buffed. You know, David's been buffed. You know, new units have been added like Chen Gong, Salami. However, on an account like this, that's more than compensated by the fact that we have so few things leveled, right? Like most people back in the day when they got to Camelot, they had a lot more stuff prepared. This account has done one event, and it didn't even finish that event. It did like, you know, 3/4 of one event. And it's able to get through without being carried by their support. But what's kind of funny, and this is actually a good sign, because this is, I think, how bosses should be. I have seen over the years many streamers that get into FGO, have no idea what they're doing, they don't look stuff up, they're just playing through the game, and they don't really know how to play, right? And then they get to Gwaine, they get to Lancelot, you name it, and they get wrecked. I've seen it so many times, right? They've actually been farming, right? They have more units, and they've got options, but they don't know how to use them. And they just lose. And that's actually good, because losing is how you get pointed in the right direction. That's how you try to, you know, AoE, you know, Edmund Dantes isn't so good against Gwaine. You know, no kidding. You know, stuff like that. You start to notice, when the content's hard enough, you start noticing the fact, right? What's not useful and what is useful when, and that kind of thing. So even though Camelot is old, right, and we can handle it, it still makes you have to, you know, play correctly. Like on this account, if I was being stupid, I'd be getting destroyed. That's the thing, I'm not being stupid. The few things I've leveled make sense, and then out of the few units that I have, I'm normally bringing ones to the stages that, you know, work. Where, you know, you can be more prepared than this, and you don't bring any way of like dealing with Gwaine's NP, and you're not going to kill him fast enough for him not to NP, and you just, everyone blows up, and then your back row doesn't make any sense, and then you lose, right? That happens to people all the time, and that's a good thing. What's not a good thing is that everything before Camelot does not get you ready for any of that, right? It's easy, boring, easy, boring, easy, boring, easy, boring, easy, and then suddenly Gwaine, right? Yeah, you got some of the Demon Pillar fights and stuff. The problem, some of the few fights earlier in FGO that are kind of hard are just so easy to overstat now. They were kind of hard in their day because they were scaled for players that were level 30 and 40, right? Like the Demon Pillar in Oceanus is expecting you to be like level 40 or 50 at best, right? And back then, your support list wasn't full of 90s, right? Where now, even if you summon a dumb support that's not really good for like the Demon Pillar in Oceanus, they're probably level 90 or 100. And so even if they're not a good pick for it, it doesn't matter. They'll strong arm it and you win anyway. So you didn't learn anything, right? You didn't learn that like that unit didn't actually make sense, or that they needed a little bit of help from supports, and oh, Hans is good or Mash is good, right? You don't see any of that. So the game does not teach you a damn thing until Camelot, right? And that's why people blue cube this fucking game, because they finally get to the hard stuff and they just think it's a cheap stat check. But yeah, adversity makes you a better player. It's just there's no adversity in FGO until Camelot, right? Like that, it's because it's literally not scaled for how players are now. You know, it was scaled for how people were day one. Now we have free Max Ascension, free 5-star. You get 5-star Embers from FP Summon, right? We have daily logins now. You have daily, you know, quests now, right? It's so different, right? And like the friend support is just so much stronger than it used to be, because the friend support is basically how strong it is relative to the average player, and the average player is much stronger now than they were back in the day. I think we go back to Spartacus here. Yeah, they really need to address this. They need to make the early game better. They need to make it harder, and it needs to teach you things. And it also needs to reward you more. The early game should be giving you skill gems and things like that. It should be, you know, pointing you in the right direction with like David and taunts and mash and the point of these things. And actually, I think, I'm serious, and I really want Chad's opinion on this. If you think this is a terrible idea and you would hate it, like when you play through the game you would hate this, I want to know. But I think this would be good for people. So, you know, you rebalance a lot of the early game, you know, you make some of the bosses harder and scaled more reasonably, but not every stage, but at least once or twice every singularity, have one boss where you don't get a friend support. Just like how when you fight Zeus, you don't get a friend support. When you fight Demeter, you don't get a friend support. Do that in Fuyuki. Do that in Septum. And not for every boss, of course not for every boss, and maybe not even for the hardest boss, but do that at least once per story, because that gets them used to it. That way they don't get blindsided by Shimosa, and they don't get blindsided by Demeter and stuff like that. and it makes them kind of get you, okay, you know, sometimes I need to stand on my own. I can't just summon this god Juna to slaughter everything. So, you know, in the meantime, I'm going to level up some units so when I fight one of those stages, I'm not fucked. Like, you want it in their head to be one of those stages, right? Like the oh shit stage, right? That's what you want them to see it in their head. So like, oh, I should be preparing for that. So as I'm beating these singularities and they're giving me skill gems and they're giving me XP cards, which they're not, but they should be, you know, you're thinking about, oh, I could level up this, I could level up that, oh, I could use a rider, maybe I should level, you know, Ushi or Ricky or something, right? I think that would be good for people, right? I don't think because it wouldn't be busted because it's only once or twice per singularity. You could command spell, you could blue cube, right? So if you absolutely hate it, you can still get past it. But I think a lot of people will kind of naturally learn from it. They might not even realize it, but I think a lot of people, if you rebalance the game, make it a little bit harder and a little bit spicier, and just, you know, once or twice per singularity, people have to stand on their own. I think when people get to Camelot, they'd be fine, right? You could just ease it into it up to that. And again, when you make the game harder and you know cut out a lot of the filler and maybe you know Castraku and Fuyuki has a break bar now, oh man. As you do those things, you reward players more. You give them a bit more void dust. You give them a bit more bones. You give them a bit more, you know, skill gems. Because the main story doesn't give you any skill gems really, and that's a mistake. I think that's bad, right? It's shitty. It's not fun. You don't want to have all your skill. The game is less fun when your skills are all like 111 and 444 because your cooldowns are longer. So you have less energy. You don't get as much out of George and David and Mash and stuff. The game is more fun when you have like more like shorter cooldowns, because you think about stuff more. You have the ability to cycle. Okay, maybe I use the skill early on when it's not quite as good because it'll be back by the time I actually need it, and so then I get even more out of it, right? You start thinking about stuff like that when your cooldowns are shorter. When they're really long, you don't get any of that. Yeah, that's great. That's why you still all the other stages, right? You still let them do the thing. Also, Papega is such a good emote, by the way. It's like, okay, where's Spartacus? That's what we need here. But yeah, I think it's a multi-prong issue, right? Because their lack of the early game being so boring and all these other things, it has multiple problems, right? Because it makes people bad at the game. It makes people bored. I mean, lots of people get bored with FGO and just quit, right? Before they ever get to, they never see a challenge quest. They never see Guadia, they never see Gwaine, they never get there, right? So many people get bored, like, oh yeah, it's just some stupid waifu farming simulator, right? And they're just done, right? They're done with it. So spicing things up, I think, in many areas would be good for the game. Are we gonna use George as a DPS because there's casters? You know what? That's an aggressive pick right there. We'll cope scope. You know what? Yeah, there we go. That's better. How do I want to get George? I could do cope scope on George. It's probably too much though. Let me think. This is getting weird. I'm not sure George will get his NP in time, but we'll find out. I quit for a year in Septum. I think most people just quit in Septum, period, right? And they don't come back. What got you to come back, though? I think you might have told me that in an account review, but I'm not sure. I spammed pure counterclass stuff until Lost Belt 2. I mean, that's generally the way to do it. Friends said it got better. Dude, I love this song though. It's so good. And like why this song exists, I just love. It was created for one room and one video game. Right, like that Gauntlet Dark Legacy. They so much quality went into like that game's like, it's a super old game, looks like ass, right? And there's a lot of like just old game garbage in it. But like they really went like over the top for like the era that game was made in, with like the amount of music they put into it and just like aesthetics and detail and like the environment and stuff. That yeah, I really appreciate it. Like literally, you walk through an abandoned bar for like 20 seconds in one stage, and this song plays there, and it's for the whole game. That song was made for just that and nothing else. Gauntlet Dark Legacy. Very old game. There is some old game walk in that. Like, one of the characters, like, cause that, it's such an old game, right? And it's like it was an old, like, arcade game originally. And it was like top-down view, so like you couldn't see the characters super clearly, and like because the back then technology was so bad, you know, the polygon count was insane. And like one of the characters, I think it's the Valkyrie, her arm is not actually connected to her body. Like you can't really tell because of the camera angle and everything, but if you like rip the character model and you can still tell in game if you really look, her arm is just slightly like disconnected from her body. And it's like because the way it needs to move and stuff, and also as you level throughout the game, you get more armor, and like you get like shoulder armor, and it covers it up. But like straight up, her arm is not connected to her body. And yeah, there's just a lot of old gamey bullshit like that. But there's a lot of like neat attention to detail and whatnot. Yeah, it's an old game. That's a very old game. That's when I was like a wee bob. And it was even a little, like it wasn't like crazy old when I was a wee bob, but it wasn't like a new game or anything. Because it had been in the arcades and stuff before. It was on arcade before it came to console, right? And like the console port didn't enhance it that much, so it was still pretty, you know, old graphics and everything. Like even when it came out on like GameCube and PlayStation 2, it was still slightly dated graphics even then. Actually definitely dated, I would say, by GameCube and stuff. Because it was pretty much just the arcade version that was, like I said, even older. Okay, we're kind of ignoring George's NP gain if I don't use this art card, but the Brave Chain though. I want to do the Brave Chain, but we'll use George's art card. Damn it. I could Spartacus NP right now, but go ahead, Guts. Yeah, it's fine. Look at this guy doing double defense down. Damn it, I need George NP. Maybe I should have just taunted on him so he got attacked more. Go a bit slower here. I should have just given George starting NP. Don't know why I was trying to be fancy. That is a pretty good emote, Arjuna. Some of them I think are inferior to the originals, but that one's pretty good. Although the original's really good too, actually, so that's a hard call. But it works. Okay, don't kill it, and then give me like a crit on George's art card, because George is a writer, so he's got high star absorb. It's about as long as I can stall on this guy. Okay, George. Come on. 30, 40, 70. Oh, the quick one doesn't matter too much. Of course, that one crits. There we go. Attaboy. Now we ready. Please give me an enemy with enough health for me to actually want to turn it into a dragon. That works. And now we get value out of our defense up. So we overcharge both of them. Yeah, we just overcharge both of them. So he gets the bigger defense up. Kind of weird using Spartacus this way. Still 42k, you know, he's still showing up. He's not doing too bad. For 1 star, it's alright. AoE 1 star. 26, yeah, it's not as good. In his defense though, he's not max level. Okay, there's the goods. Look at that neutral and neutral doing 86 in P1, by the way. Probably been a bit over 100k if he'd been in P2. We can heal George. It's fine. Siegfried still has his bonus damage to dragons right now. That's probably worth. I don't know. Brave chains are good. Yeah, we would have done more with the Brave Chain, but he got NP gain while I was at it. George will get his NP again. We're definitely gonna win. I'm just trying to have it not completely suck. I don't know, maybe I should just normal card it down. Going for another NP might be futile. What is that Rue Hug emote? That is, what the hell? I would never even guess that's a hug emote until you like read the text, right? I know what it's based off of, but jeez. Rue emotes, man, they're legendary though. It's amazing, like people sub to him just for the emotes, and like that really speaks to their quality. So I mean, that's pretty impressive. Damn, George got smited there. I actually think we saved Siegfried. I mean, George can do 33k, but yeah, we'll save Siegfried. I really should not have been going for NP gain, because I kind of got a chunk of NP gain on everyone, but didn't get NP on anyone. So I should have just been doing normal card damage the whole time. Damn it. Alright, that got pretty sloppy there. Look at all these attack buffs. And they're all rank 1. I like how we had double attack buff there and no one got a buster card. Okay, it's over. That took a minute. We're kind of weak against casters right now. It's because Ushi's level 40. If I just level her up, we'll be fine. I'm gonna level her up in Martha, and that should be pretty much all we need. And Martha's a good investment because it'll be good for all the debuff fights down the road and for Demeter and all that stuff. So Martha's a super good investment on this account. I wonder if I can beat Demeter on this account with just Martha and Ushi and then George. That'll be tough. Might want one more rider, but I might be able to. We'll see. Because on the Herc account, we had Hercules for Demeter, and that cleaned up no problem. It'll be a bit harder on this one. Yeah, I think, oh boy, with how little I'm going to farm on this account, I bet you Demeter is going to be a pretty big oof. Thankfully, I know what I'm doing, and I think I can be ready by then. Lancelot might be in this chapter. I'll look out for a pure saber node. So chat, do we nerf ourselves on Lancelot? Do we ban Salome? Because Salome's a berserker, which helps against the ruler thing, and then she has the niche with the lawful good, so she's doing a lot of damage. So do we want to spice it up? Yeah, it looks like people want me to spice it up. That's fine. I like making making it a bit harder. So any other bronze berserker we think is too good. I don't think so, because this account cannot enable Caligula, and then Spartacus is AoE, right? So I don't think it's bad. I think all the other berserkers are okay. Because if it's just 2 stars, I can't use Darius or Lubu or any of that. Yeah, Salome's too OP because of her niche, right? That's why. Normally, it wouldn't be a big deal. Do we Gareth here, or do I want to bring out a Rider? If I bring a Rider, it's gonna be like Blackbeard or Black Bart. I think we go with a Rider because I've got Protoku. All right, what's a Bronze Rider? I guess Blackbeard. They don't really have a single target 2-star Rider, so Blackbeard's pretty good actually for this kind of account because the heal keeps everybody in it. I might go with Asterios, we'll see. I'm not banning him though because I don't think he's even remotely too good, but I might give him a go. I think Asterios would be pretty great if if Hans had his 3rd skill leveled. Because then you'd have enough stars to use Asterios' Star Absorb and actually do like Buster Crit stuff. But I don't see how this account's gonna have enough stars. We'll see. I'm gonna try to enable his crits, but I don't have Anniversary Blonde, so if I had it, I'd just use that. I need to roll and then burn someone. You know, when we beat Camelot, we're rolling. Right after beating Camelot, we're rolling for Bedivere because I like Bedivere, and I don't know though. The thing is, this account doesn't really want for anything. So if I wanted to, I could just not roll in this account for a long time and then roll after Lost Belt 4 and get Asclepius, which is really good. And I do feel like Bedivere is a bit of a killjoy for the Saber slot because he's so good, right? It's like, it's kind of fun when you have that scuffed Saber slot and you're trying to make Siegfried work or Toria Alter, where if we get Bedivere, you know, we're good. Roll Van Gogh and burn. I mean, if I got her, I'd happily burn her. I would happily burn her. I'd be like, oh, we got a free Anniversary Blonde. How about that? We'll see. I mean, I'm not picky on my ult accounts. If chat wants me to roll like all the time, I'll roll all the time. And if chat wants me to save up, you know, I'll do whatever. You know, ult accounts are ult accounts, so. We'll see, but I'm not rolling until I at least beat Camelot. Who knows? Maybe Halloween will add something cool, right? Because here's the thing: I don't have to super like a unit to be happy to get it on an ult account. Because it's kind of fun to get a unit that you normally wouldn't use or obtain on your main account on an ult account. So you know, I'll roll on whatever. But if it was Van Gogh, I would just burn it because fuck that. Save for Stheno, I would if it would ever get raid ups, but she generally doesn't. So not really counting on that one. Let's just do that. That's okay. George dies. I guess Qingong just buff. You know, we could do a roll. Here's the problem with me doing a roll thing on this account. I'd have to wail. Because I know you fucks. And you all have a million channel points right now. Because see, Cairo kind of kept the tide down. So, you know, when Cairo does stuff, people only have so many channel points. You sons of bitch, you got way too many channel points. Right? And I'm not made out of money, and I don't want to wail on this stupid game. So, no we don't. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. And yeah, I'd have to buy us. Dude, you guys would make me go broke. I'm serious. I bet you all have enough. Unless I made the rolling just so expensive. If I made it like Cairo, because Cairo's is what, 30k? If I made it 30k for a roll, you guys would make me go fucking broke. Because some of you all have millions and millions of channel points. Right? So I'd be like on the street in a week. Right? So I don't know about that one. Yeah, I could make the rolling insanely high. Well, we'll see. We'll see what we can do. It'd be nice if there was some kind of way though for chat to do that. Because again, my ult accounts I don't care about as much. So I guess Cairo though does 30k for a single roll, not a 10 roll. So I could always make a rule where you all can't make me roll if I don't have free SQ. But then it's I don't know. It's not as then you're not gonna roll very often still. So I'll think about it. I might like talk to Cairo and Ari and see if they have any ideas. Because it would be nice to give people. It'd be better if this account had like a big stockpile. But I did roll that one time, right? We used all that initial SQ from the Start Dash campaign. Because if I was like sitting on like 1,000 SQ, we could probably make that last enough that you all would use up a lot of channel points and it'd be okay. But yeah, it'd be a problem otherwise. This account only has like what, 200 SQ or something? The thing is, I wouldn't even care if chat made me roll on Van Gogh because I would just burn her. Although I guess you'd want me not to do that, but there's just no. Look, if chat made me roll on, let me put this in perspective of how much I don't like Van Gogh, right? If chat made me roll on Mev and they wanted me to not burn her, I would put up with that. I don't like Mev, but I would put up with that. Not putting up with it with Van Gogh. There is no world where I use Van Gogh. I don't. If somebody. I'm normally susceptible to like people that like, you know, they just, you know, want to have a good time and, you know, they got the pleading eyes and stuff. But if someone right now, you know, proved that they were like a lurker, right? And then they like subbed to the channel, they gifted me like, you know, 80 gifted subs. And they're like, man, I've been watching your content for years, and I'm a lurker, and I really want to see you use Van Gogh on an ult account, right, and make it like a main DPS on that account. Wouldn't do it. Wouldn't do it. If they said anything other than Van Gogh, I might do it, but nope, not happening, right? You can guilt trip me into all kinds of things, not that one though. No way, like no fucking way. Like Van Gogh, you know, Van No, and like Paul Bunyan, those are the two that are not happening. And maybe like regular Liz and Kiara, those probably aren't happening either. They're more likely though than Van Gogh. Use like every goddamn channel point to not burn Van Gogh. I'd be okay with getting Arjuna as like a main DPS on an account. That'd be fun, actually. Like seriously, I'm willing to put up with a lot. I really am. Like I said, I'd use Mev for God's sakes if chat, you know, made me roll on it or whatever. But yeah, Van Gogh is just absolutely no. Besides, Anniversary Blonde is a good Mystic code. Well, at 51, please don't kill it. You're level 51. Woo! If he was level 70, that would have killed, but we got it. Kiara account. Yeah, no way. She'd have a slight chance of survival if chat really wanted it, but she's not. The account is not going to be themed around her, right? Besides, you can't really make an account themed around Kiara unless you whale, because, you know, like, if I'm going to make the Herc account, you know, you re-roll until you get Herc. You know, if you do the Stheno account, you re-roll until you get Stheno, right? There's really no way to, like, make the Kiara account, right? Because I'm not whaling, right? Under, like, no circumstance do I whale, so I couldn't, like, make a... I guess you could do a starter account. I guess that's how you would do it. Okay, so I guess it is kind of possible, but, not probable. I can make a... Caligula account is a reasonable thing. He's in... You know, the problem with that is it'd be a slow burn, because it kind of takes a while to build up an account to the point where it can really work with Caligula. Because you need that Mozart leveled up, you need that Hans leveled up, you need Qin Gong leveled up, you know, you might even want some, you know, maybe a waiver or something. You need a Starbomb CE. Starbomb CEs make it a lot easier. Now, if you're like almost, most of my accounts that exist, because they've been around for a while, they could convert into a Caligula account, right? Because they like the Hercules account, it has a Starbomb CE, you know, from Summer 5 or whatever, right? And it's gotten Hans decently high, it's gotten, so it could do it, right? But if you make a brand new account, it's going to be pretty slow on actually making Caligula get stuff done, right? Now, sure, the earlier content in FGO is easier, so you could probably get away with it without, you know, having like those better dedicated supports and stuff, but, you know, it wouldn't really feel like you're really doing a lot of Caligula justice, right, until you farther in, so that would kind of suck, but... I like Caligula, so he's fun. I'm going to grail him on one of the accounts. I haven't figured out which one. What would really bless an account like that is if when you like, because like before we do Camelot, I normally do one event. That's pretty standard. I normally do one event before Camelot, and then sometimes I don't even play other events. It just depends. But if that one event you happen to do on like a Caligula themed account happened to give a Star Bomb CE, that would really help. That would be a massive help. Or just gave the mats that you need for like Hans and Qingong, right? Like if you get that stuff down, you know, nice and quick, it makes it significantly simpler. I don't know why I didn't use Blackbeard's first skill on turn 1, because so many turns have gone by, it would be back, and then I just have a free guts. But this stage is so easy, I don't think I need it, but that was definitely a mistake. It's too late now, though. It would be a waste if I used it here. See, everyone always wants me to, like, pick every stupid option for every slot, but the thing is, you just get stuck. Or you have to get carried by support. Like, if I leveled Baldy as my only Lancer, and I leveled Jekyll and Hyde as my only Assassin, right? If every slot is stupid like that, you have to get carried by the support. That's just, that's no fun. So you only have so much wiggle room to be an idiot. Now, on a more established, this is why I want story replay. Because then I can be like, okay guys, we're gonna start in Camelot, and we're just gonna go as far as we can go, and we're gonna try to use Jekyll and Hyde, you know, for every major boss fight. We just skip the filler, right? That'd be awesome, right? That'd be like a series of streams for a bit, and then when you beat Fluffy, spoilers, you never beat Fluffy with Jekyll and Hyde as your main DPS, but you know, then you can reset, and then you like, okay, now you know this is the theme. Now this is the theme, and then, dude, I'm gonna do this, right? We'll have like a whole like themes, right? So like, okay, we're gonna play through the game starting with Camelot and on, right? We'll do Shimosa and all that. You skip the filler, and you let chat make up restrictions, right? Like, seriously, there will be our channel points, right? Like, we can have chat come up with restrictions, right? You're not allowed to use these CEs, or you have to use this, or, you know, your support can only be that, or no casters ever. Like, literally no casters ever, right? That would cost like 1,000,000 channel points, by the way. But like, yeah, you come up with like, you know, different things that you know, that chat can kind of, you know, make in the rules of the account, and like maybe even you can have them ban a specific unit, you know, per boss fight if they use enough channel points. Like for this, you know, that's there's a lot of fun to be had with that kind of thing. You can come up with some pretty interesting stuff, you know, like you can basically force gimmicks into a fight that don't exist because, you know, chat can like make up stuff. So that could be pretty interesting. The thing is, if I did that, I would do it on my main account. So although chat would be, you know, jumping through hoops to make my life miserable, my main account is pretty ready, right? My main account's pretty strong. So, you know, I'm not saying I'm just gonna breeze through everything, but I think I could come up with some pretty good stuff. I know this game, man. The combination of like, and I test meta stuff, I test non-meta stuff, and I test units that suck. If I'm limited to some weird thing, I still know what's like the best options available generally. I think if I had like really fucked up restrictions on my account, I could still come up with some pretty good stuff. That's why I want to do it though, because it forced me to get creative and do things like Caligula, you know, buff stacking where I normally wouldn't, and you wouldn't normally need to, right? So I think it could be pretty interesting actually. Chat's though gonna be like, use necromancy all the time, right? That's the shit they want. Sadly, we don't have story replay, even though every other game does. I mean, look at Arc Knights. If FGO would just copy a lot of like the stuff that Arc Knights does with their challenging content and replayable content, FGO would be so much better. It'd be amazing. If they did like that Hell Zone thing and the challenge mode thing, oh my god. Like their story replay is just so much better than, I mean, FGO doesn't even have one, so what am I even talking about? Like, they have story replay, and they have bonus stages that are harder, and then a hard mode. And then even the non-hard mode is still good, right? Like, the normal mode is still totally fine. We're over here and just like, yeah, we can't even replay anything to start with, right? Like, I don't, why? Like, literally, why? It's crazy. I don't know what this stage is, but it's time for Gareth. Also, this fucking song. I swear, this would be like chat's boss theme if they had one. Alright, give Gareth the typical CE. I could give her Golden Sumo now that we're getting farther into the Singularity, but I'm not gonna bother. Perfect. Honestly, this setup's still good. Could be Enforcement Knights. She's bad, but I want Bond, and it should be okay. I should get Stheno, Bond. Stheno's actually fine here. Stage creation, I would love that, dude. That would be so much fun. There's so much fun you could have with FGO's combat system, man. Like, it could be such a good time. Imagine if they had like an abyss dungeon where you like work through floors and stuff, and like deciding to go down this hallway or that hallway actually mattered, and it wasn't just linear fluff. That'd be cool. Hey, I use Emiya sometimes. I don't use him a lot, but I use him every once in a while. He's not the least. I mean, look, if you've been following me for a while, you've seen Emiya on camera a few times, right? Look, I guess not in videos. I'm not sure I've ever used him in videos. Have I? I feel like I haven't. He's been an enemy in my videos, but use him for Summer 3 challenge quests? Really? Because man, there are better AoE options than that. I wonder if let me look. What did I do? I've done the Summer 3 challenge quest with so many different setups. I don't even remember. What did we do? That's one of the challenge quests I did the most. I did that with so many setups. Let me just put this on stream here, because... Okay, so what I want to know is... why did I pick Emiya? Because I can't... Did I get value out of... The only way I would have done it is if, like... Because no offense to Emiya, but I'm not exactly an Emiya fan. I would only have done it if like I could like highlight something unique, like his crits, right? How he can do AoE into crits, and he actually has decent crit damage. I don't think I did that though. Hold on, I gotta watch this a minute here. I wanna here we'll do the regular music, but I literally want to know what I did here because I don't remember. VC Braun makes sense. I get that. Like, I get it, we're gonna double AoE, right? But you don't need Emiya for that, right? You could double AoE here with all kinds of things. You could do Atalante, right? I think Atalante would be better right now. We'll see, though. I know his skill ranks aren't even good. Did someone want me to use Emiya? I'm so confused as to why I used Emiya here, because I can just think of so many better AoE choices. I would not shock me if someone was like, you don't ever use Emiya, can you do that in a video? I would not shock me if that's why I did it, because right now I'm really confused. Because it's scuffed Emiya. This is a very scuffed Emiya, and I can just think of so many other AoE units that would perform better. Like hell, Darius, you could, well, the only problem with Darius is he might die too soon. Okay, so far, I guess he has an art deck. So like that right there, if I had no way to get battery, it's more likely to get his NP right there, and you don't need that's something that's legitimately good for a setup like this because it doesn't have any way to get battery. This was done so long ago. This was on JP, so this was like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, right? This is super old. Because this event was quite a while ago on NA now, and this was on JP on the original run, not the rerun. That NP is amazing, by the way. So, I'm guessing Emiya NP's here. Okay, I see one thing. He is Buster, so he works with Penth. That's actually kind of good. Now, that means though Penth has to do something, though it made sense to bring Penth. Because I could have brought Shakespeare, right, and then stuff like that. There's other ways to get like the buffing and whatnot. So Penth is gonna have to really impress. Oh, okay, that's pretty good. Although I feel like he might have. No, he probably wouldn't have killed that without at least some kind of damage. I don't know if he needed the crit or not, but you needed some kind of damage there. I mean, like that. It's good, but you could absolutely accomplish like that. What we just did right there, you could accomplish that with a lot of setups. There's nothing about Emiya Penth specifically that, I mean, it's okay, like it's not bad, you know, it works. You can't get the Buster up and then Penth can do damage and stuff. I want to see if maybe Penth blows up like an assassin, because that would make sense, because Budget doesn't have a way of dealing with assassins particularly well, especially back then, because they didn't have Babbage. Hey Ari, I'm trying to, Apparently this is the only time I ever used Emiya in a video, and I'm trying to figure out why, because as of right now, I'm like, I could have done a million other different setups that could have accomplished what he accomplished. So I have no idea why I did it. I really think I might have just done it because people wanted me to do it. Like, it's fine, you know, it's not bad. I'm not hating on Emiya here. It's not like he doesn't get value. He does. It's just you could definitely have matched this with any, like, all kinds of other stuff. Especially Pinth really has to get value here for it to like make sense to have her be the buffer for him and all that. Oh, that's why. Okay, I actually get it now. It's because of Nidocris. I bet you she blows up Nidocris. This actually makes sense now because then you don't. Shakespeare couldn't do that, right? And then you want to Buster AoE because Pinth buffs the Buster, right? Now you could still probably do this. Like some of the other AoE units are strong enough that they could just blow things up and they wouldn't have needed Pinth's buffs anyway, right? So it's not like you have to use Emiya, but it does make some. Wait, no, what? Okay, why? What? I thought, you know, because there's not good ways to kill assassins when you're doing more budgety things, right? So I thought we brought Pinth for that. I don't even know. Oh, sure hit, right? So we couldn't use Pinth. I don't remember this fucking challenge quest. Was that the plan? That couldn't have been the plan then. The plan must have been Billy because of sure hit. I know pass screen. He's not an idiot, right? Because I actually would like practice and stuff, and so I knew what I'm doing. So that I don't know why Pinth is on this team then. Because so far the buffs could have been applied by all kinds of different things, and whatever I think she's gonna nuke, all kinds of other things could have nuked. I mean, sure, this is fine. It's like, yeah, she'll kill the archer there, and she'll probably break that other health bar, but like all kinds of other units could have done that. Like all kinds of other units could have done that. I mean, she's debuff immune. Were there debuffs? I wasn't paying attention. I haven't done this in a while, right? I don't remember if there were like debuffs and like that got value. I mean, I don't know. It's like, this is fine. It's not a bad setup. It's just, it's actually a good setup. It's just that I don't know why I bothered to use Emiya because I don't like Emiya. Oh, well, I'm neutral. And Emiya is very, very neutral. So I'm surprised that I used Emiya here when I feel like I could have just done so many other things. I wish I had taken notes because like future me is so confused right now. I'm not confused by the setup. The setup is totally legit. And I'm happy with it, right? Like, this is fine. It's just, I have no fucking clue why I went with Emiya. Like, I mean, there's even more budgety options that I think would have done just as well, if not better. Because I think, hold on, let me just kind of skip through this here, because I think... Why are there timestamps? Why are there timestamps in my video or Buster chain? What? How chapters exist is in your description having timestamps. There's no timestamps here. Is it in a comment? What? Why are there chapters in my video? And they're just named Buster Brave Chain, Quick Brave Chain. I'm so confused. And this one's not even named. And they're not even accurate. I don't think there even is. What the hell? I don't understand. I have to figure this out. I'll get this later, but I do not understand why there are chapters in my video and why they're named like things that don't even make sense. Anyway, I don't really get why I used Emiya in that stage, because as watching through that, I don't get it. There's all other units I could have used that I like better. I mean, it's okay. Like, it's totally okay. I don't think it was a bad pick. It's just, when it's not this is why I'm confused. It's because it's a reasonable pick, but there's other reasonable picks that I like more. So it's weird that I picked Emiya because I'm not a big Emiya fan. And apparently that's the only time I ever used him in a video. And he's not even 10-10-10, so I don't get it. So that's kind of sad though. That's my only Emiya video because it's not the best time for him to shine. I didn't really take advantage of his like NP into crit stuff. We didn't really do anything that fancy, and his skill ranks are really scuffed, like really scuffed. So he's not even performing as good as he could. So I really should make another Emiya video because Also, the video quality's bad. Like, my video quality's a lot better now because that's a really old video. And you know, I try to make a good video for every unit I can. Even if I don't like the unit, so I need a. I'll remember that. We need to make a better Emiya video. That's pretty shit. He's easy to make videos for too because he's got good value, and then you a lot of options with music and stuff, and he's popular and everything. So I should do it. Do I have an Arjuna video? I don't know. I definitely need one because we got a Grailed Arjuna here. I'll make a Mev video someday, because again, even if I don't like the unit, I'll still make a video for them. The problem is, Mev is actually kind of meta, right? And so making something interesting with her is kind of hard, but it'll be a lot easier if we get story replay, because then I can just go through all the bosses and find like a fun way. Hey, look, you can set up, I kind of would want to make 2 videos for like every character in an ideal world. So I'd make like a solo video with Mev, somewhere where like she barely can handle it. It's like you show her the max value she's got, and then you do like a team video where she's the only rare thing on the team. I love doing videos like that where you pick like a unit to show off and they're the only rare thing on the video, because then they have to work, right? They have to get value. They have to, you know, actually show off what they can do. And then you can pick a boss fight. If you had story replay, you could do old challenge quests. You could pick a boss fight that's hard, but Mev is good for, right? So you can show off what she, you know, how good she can be, and then, hey, look, she doesn't need to be carried by Waver and Merlin and all that. She can, you know, do just fine on her own, right? I like making videos like that, but because we can't replay content, it's very difficult to do that for any unit that I want, right? I normally am kind of busy, you know, making either budget setups or showing off my favorite units or, you know, that kind of thing, and then, you know, the event's over or I'm burned out or what have you. So, yeah, story replay would really help. Because I'm happy to make videos. I actually really like making videos for units that I don't necessarily like myself, because it gets me to like pick music that I normally wouldn't use. Gets me to like think about just like setups I normally wouldn't use, or you know, it makes you change perspective, right? And I like that. The comment you left on the video said that the intent was to give Billy crits by letting Emiya NP twice if it briefly. Oh, I remember now. Right, yeah, that like, I remember like when I recorded that, the setup went wrong, but it worked anyway, so I just went with it because I actually kind of like when that happens. I totally remember now. That's right, a VC Braun is supposed to die sooner, and it keeps Emiya alive because of his 3rd skill. And then Emiya makes a lot of stars, and he does work with Pen. The thing is, you can still use Atalante. Maybe I didn't have Atalante back then, but I bet you I did. But I get it now. That makes sense. That makes sense, because yeah, if a VC Braun had lived longer and Emiya survived, that's just good for the team anyway. That's just way better for the team. And then yeah, you get a bunch of stars for Billy, so Billy's more reliable to do his stuff. That makes sense. Okay, I feel satisfied now. Okay, we do have an Arjuna video. That's good. When was it made? 2019? Let me look real quick if like how the video quality is. That's okay. It's not like as good as it is. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's pretty good. I still need to put him in a team video though, and like I like Arjuna enough that he could potentially get, you know, several videos over time. Because buys them. Like, look, I'm happy to make a Mev video or maybe 2 Mev videos, like a team one and a solo one, but there's, you know, that's it, right? I'm not even like, oh, another Mev video, or another Mev video. That ain't happening. Like, that's not going to happen unless you got like another animation update or whatever. Dude, I need to get off my ass. I've been kind of lazy because I've been streaming so much, but I need to make more videos. I need Caligula videos. I need to get out there, man. The thing is, not having story replay makes it so you can't make like the video you really want to make, right? If I do like a Caligula crit thing, I can show off some Mimi stuff and big damage and stuff, but it's probably going to be against a stage that's not that interesting, right? You know, I want to be able to go back and look at all the boss fights, find a hard one, but that's good for Caligula, and you know, dude, that's what you want, right? And then you have more variety in your channel when you go back and look at it. You're not just fighting Lobo in every video, right? Because when we look back at the game, you know, 10 years from now, I don't want every video to be fucking Lobo and Richard, right? You want it to be different. So give me story replay, And then dude, playing Arc Knights is just depressing right now because, like I said, I saw that they added like those Hell mode stages to the old chapters, and all of the chapters have challenge mode, and everything has story replay, and you get your AP back if you fail, and you can just use practice tickets for fun, and it's just like, god damn it, they get to do whatever they want, and they get lots of boss fights, and now they have main interludes. They have main interludes, and when you beat the stage, you can just play them again. And you can also then, you know, cancel the stage to get your AP back, right? You just so much more wiggle room to just play, to just have fun, right? They get a sandbox, right? And I'm over here like, you know, canceling stages so I don't lose them forever, and then I still lose like 40 AP and 20 AP. It's like, yeah, great. Like, FGO is just, it's so archaic, and it does not need to be, because like the graphics have aged just fine. You know, the game engine is like an updated Unity, which is good enough to like do most things, right? There's no reason for this game to feel like a dinosaur. It's just that they just don't bother. They don't bother to do story. Dude, looking at Arc Knights, like I said, it's just depressing because they do exactly what I want FGO to do with the way they handle story content. Like, they do it exactly how I want FGO to do it. Like, the fact that they went back to old chapters and added in, like, new challenge quests for each chapter, I'm like, come on! Like, you know, we had Shadow Herc and Fuyuki, but you can't replay that, and they never did that again. It's like, come on, man. Wait, why auto? What caused that? It detected what looked like a title near the top of the screen at 3 points. Each section started oh, is it taking it from the... Is it what the fuck? Is it scanning the video, and like when the chains happen, like in game, the FGO text is making it think those are chapter names? Because I didn't even think chapters could activate that way. I thought they only activated if you told them to activate, like by putting it in your description. Because I've never had them go off like that. That's stupid. It's literally mimicking the Brave chains in the game. That is so dumb. I have to go through the settings and see if there's a way I can turn that off. I don't think there is, though. That seems like an automatic thing. Because yeah, normally it's like the chapter system is like, it's a sentence. It's not like a weird algorithm thing. It's like, yeah, if you put timestamps in your description and you put a title after them, it'll put them as chapters, and that's just that, right? But apparently that's not what it's doing. Boy, that's pretty silly. I'm not sure there's going to be a way for me to turn that off, but I'll check. All these archers, though. And not only would it help me make videos and just have fun in FGO, when story replay and boss fights and stuff, but when a new unit comes out, it lets you actually play, right? It's like, oh hey, they added what's her Archer, Anastasia, right? There's one, or Charlotte, right? They're single targets, they're boss killers, right? They're not for farming. So if you want to go see, okay, I got this new unit, they're one of my favorite characters, you want to use them, right? Because some people out there, like Charlotte's their favorite character, Anastasia's their favorite character, and so if they roll them, they obviously want to go use them on something, but they're not for farming, so it's like having boss fights you can just go do and see, how they do. That's nice, and that's how most games are. Where yeah, FGO is like, nope, go fight door dailies. That's exciting. Normally, the best bond farm, there's various free quests that are all tied that have like the best ratio. There's a bunch, so you normally farm the one that drops whatever is at least the best for you. And then sometimes event stages are better. Like the best time to farm bond is normally when an event is going on, right? Because you're getting more value per stage. Because you're also getting QP from like the turn-ins and stuff like that. But if you just have to farm bond, there's like the boar stage in Babylon. I think there's some newer ones that are tied with that one. But yeah, the best thing to do is you look at one of those stages that gives the best, XP, or AP to bond ratio, which most stages are like tied on that for like in-game stages, and then at least something that drops something, and also that you can clear quickly. You want to be able to clear it very quickly and with like almost any unit setup possible, because you want to bring the units that you actually want the bond on if you're bond farming, right? Yeah, bond farming sucks, and I never recommend it to anyone under any circumstance. I think it's a complete waste of AP, and in the long run, it's just not worth it. I think it's such a bad thing to do, and it's not. You don't get enough SQ, you don't get enough Like the rewards are just not good enough. But if you're like desperate to get coins for your favorite unit, or you're trying to get a 30 roll or whatever, and you know, you can, but I think it's normally you're gonna lose more than you gain, right? Like even if you really want to get like an extra 30 roll for like a rate up or something, you know, what you're gonna lose in apples and everything, I just think is worse, right? So I do not recommend bond farming to anyone under any circumstance. But if you gotta do it, you know, at least try to be smart about it and pick a mat that you're gonna get something out of. And yeah, you normally pick one of the stages, though that's like a later free quest, because like the earlier ones don't get enough, like the XP to bond ratio is not as good. Some people are obsessed with getting as many bond CEs as possible, though. Like that means something. It's a complete waste of time. But, you know, people can play the game however they want. It's just some people screw themselves over, you know, while doing that kind of thing, which I don't think is wise. I wanted that Brave chain, so I could just kill a 28k one, but got a target switch. Because the thing is, unless you have a reason to get Arjuna bond up like this second, just get it over time, right? You know, at least get it during an event and that kind of thing. You know, you don't like, you know, I don't need to get Ku to bond 15 as soon as humanly possible, right? I'm just happy to, you know, I try to always bring Ku. Ku is always on my farming teams, always. I can't even think of like the last time I did a stage without him, unless I'm just like shitting around on stream or something. But if I'm just like autopilot farming or whatever, Ku is always on the team. But I'm not like, oh, no events going on, let me just start blowing apples to do free quests to get Ku bond, right? I don't do that. Hey, thank you for the sub, man. It's Sintai, is that right? Something like that. Thank you for the 4 months. What am I doing here? I guess Proto Ku NP and then kill the other one. And hold on 1 second, chat. I gotta get Sint E. Okay. I'll try to remember that. But give me 1 second. I gotta get water. I'm parched. Chat, this is a travesty. This is absolute calamity. I bought hot dog buns, and I just opened them, and they're not stale, but they're getting there, right? So they're not gonna last, right? I'm not gonna get through the whole bundle, and I just bought them, and I had them, you know, locked up all fine. I feel scammed. Like this one's okay. Like I'm eating one right now. It's okay, but. You know, like when after I eat a couple, you know, if they're over a few days, they're not gonna last. So, and they don't taste as good when they're like this, right? It's good, but I've been ripped off. Okay, music is definitely looping. Alright, Gareth, if you could just like crit here. I should have taunted with her last turn so she had the attack up. Can Gareth do 29k with her normal cards? Hot dog bun croutons. I don't even. I wonder if anyone's ever done that. Alright, we might be getting close to Lancelot. I'm glad we banned Salome because that really was too good. Like, that was too easy the last fight. I never thought we would ban her though. Like, seriously. Gareth again is fine. We've got, Stheno. Kojiro. I don't think we need to taunt. Okay, this is fine. Man, I just don't have a CE that I like on Stheno yet, though. I really need to... That's another reason to roll. If we roll, we could get something worth a damn. That was pure attack stat. I might actually go with that. Man. Wow, I'm doing that just because it's attack stat. Her art card's gonna be amazing, but she only has one. Yeah, lawful good. Because we fought the first fight with Lancelot where he has the enforcement knights, and she just deleted them, like just immediately deleted them. Her curse didn't actually work because you know, he's immune to debuffs. But yeah, I was surprised. She did quite a lot of damage. Like and Lancelot doesn't have that much health because they don't expect you to counterclass him. That's the thing. That's what I always say about ruler bosses and why Avengers kind of run everything. Because if you look at Lancelot compared to all the other knights, he has less health than they do. And it's because they don't expect you to be able to counterclass it. And if you do counterclass it with a berserker, then they're going to die really fast. So. So what I think I'm going to do, I think Asterios. It's either Asterios or Caligula, or I don't use a Berserker at all, which that would actually be kind of fun. But I also want to try to win. I don't want to, I'm trying to beat each knight in one try, and so far we've done that. Well, we've had, Gwaine was close. Gwaine was really fucking close. He's definitely been the hardest. Actually, Tristan was a bit close. I will say, Tristan was a bit close. I theory crafted the most on Tristan. I really thought about that one. I kind of wish we had Protoku now, but let's see. Caligula would be cool, and he could. The only look, if I had Hans's third skill up, or I had a Starbomb CE, I think Caligula would actually be the correct choice. The issue is this account is so scuffed that it doesn't have like any of the things you want to work with Caligula. You know, Hans's third skill is 2. You know, Qinggong is like 111. I don't have 2030. I don't have Starbomb. I don't have Anniversary Blonde. You know, that's another big hit. So a lot of the stuff that you would have, and I don't have Mozart, right? Mozart's a really easy way to enable Caligula on an account like this, but we haven't leveled him at all, let alone getting his third skill up. So like, no joke, it's not a meme. I think Caligula would actually be very useful in this context. And I don't know, maybe he still is. He might actually still be good. I'm kind of leaning towards, though, Asterios because he's more straightforward with getting normal card damage, and then he actually has survivability with his defense up. Both of their NPs are bad, though, because he's immune to debuffs. This is getting kind of weird. I could NP right now. You know what? Let's do that. Do I first skill? I don't think so. Do that in case there's another Lancer. There probably isn't, though. What, you have it say, or a friend has it? What's the context here? Imagine being Benkei when they added Gareth. Right? The one thing Benkei had going for him was it was the only bronze Lancer. Well, you had Leonidas, but Leonidas is a tank, right? It's pretty. Oh, I guess, yeah, I mean, Benkei's kind of a tank. He shouldn't be, but he kind of is, because he has to be, because he's shit at everything else. Anyway, but yeah, then they add Gareth, who also has a burst taunt, you know, because Leonidas is longevity, right, with taunt. Where Gareth also has a burst taunt, but then she has guts and decent damage, and she gives the team the defense down, right? Like, pretty rough, pretty rough. Imagine being Benkei at all, that's true. And then all your screen time gets cut from the anime. Do I do the attack up and then I could do the first? I could potentially kill this thing if I did Gareth's first skill and the first skill of Stheno, but I don't think that's worth. Ow. Please don't kill Kojiro. Uh-oh. Well, I guess we are doing it this way. Shame I don't have Kojiro's second skill because I'd make more stars. Alright, Stheno, let's see that 25% art up you got going. Come on, come on! Yeah! At least Benkei got into the anime adaptation. I like how you're just staring at a rice bowl, sadly. Big oof. What do we do here? Oh no, I think Stheno's the DPS. Oh no. That's not good. I wish I had her anti-rider passive. This could get ugly. What's the play? Well, more art card, let's go. Because Kojiro's dead right here. I could have given him the evade, but he wouldn't live long enough to get his own evade back, because he's 1-1-1. If he was 10-10-10, he would, and then it'd have been worth it to evade him there. Yeah, that's actually good, though. I am using her NP to just get the defense down and then activate the extra attack. It's actually completely worth it. Crit. Crit. You had one job. 40-70. We're favored. I handed Stheno rigged dice. I handed her rigged dice. And then she still fucked it up. Right? It's like I gave her weighted dice, right? So it's more likely to land on the numbers we need to win. And she still runs it. Right? She just can't figure it out. It's like throws him into the river or something. It's like, is this how we win gambling? This is why Medusa turned on them. I'm telling you, this is why Medusa, Medusa acts like it's all sad and, she wished she didn't do it. Nah, it's a lie. That's just a cover-up. She just doesn't want to look bad, She wants to be sympathetic. But she was just tired of their shit, man. Imagine Gorgon not being a berserker, by the way. Man, I gotta tell ya, Gareth did pretty good in this stage. Putting the normal card damage on those archers and still doing some damage here. Not half bad. Might kill here. Get Uriel, but not Stheno. 33k! Well, you don't see that animation very often. Because, I'm not even sure I put that animation in my video, fuck. Because, she only has the one Buster card, so the only way that happens naturally is if someone else does a Buster card first. You did? Okay. Whew. Frickin' NA getting that animation update, man. They got it so fast. Not as rare though as Robin's. Robin's BM combo, because that's not even a BM combo, because you could do Stheno's Buster, her quick, and then her Buster. Right, there's really no such thing as a BM combo if you have a single... Oh, thanks, game. Anyway, there's no such thing really as a BM combo if you only have one Buster card, right? But Robin's is really unique. Get Yurley and Stheno within like... I think you got it quicker than 4 months. I think you got it in like 2 months. Like, it was so fast. I think it was like 2.5 months or something. Like, it was super speedy. This might be Lancelot. Alright, chat. If we're gonna do the betting thing, now's the time. So, if I remember correctly, if this is Lancelot, there are no Enforcement Knights. He has more health, and now we're still doing the 2-star support, but we're not... No Salami. Fuck it. Because, you know, she's a little too good. If I'll beat it in my first try. If Green Man will beat Lancelot in the first try. Okay, here we go, we got it. That was pretty fast. Because yeah, we've been doing that every boss if I can beat it first try. And so far I've gotten it. I've failed twice in Camelot and they were both trash stages. So there's that. Okay, so gotta be a bronze. I'm trying to think, is it worth it to bring strong neutral value or do I go Berserker? I think I still go Berserker. I think it's still worth it. So maybe Blood Axe, actually. Ah, fuck, his debuff doesn't work. This would really be his time. But because he's a 2-star, so slightly higher stats. But because his debuff doesn't work, I don't think he's worth it. I'm really, it's either Asterios or Spartacus. Or Caligula. Like, I mean, Caligula's, even though I don't have the supports for him, he is a 65. And he does have a lot of, there's just no, let me look at my options. Let's just be our placeholder support. I just don't see how on earth I could get any crits out of him with my skill ranks. I have no craft essences to make stars. I don't have Anniversary Blonde. Like, Hans's second skill is rank 2. I don't have 2030. Do I have even like any craft essence that makes stars per turn? Don't think so. Yeah, I don't think I have any stars per turn. I mean, I could bring an assassin, you know, what you were supposed to do. Chat, remember when you were supposed, you know, do like, you know, Kojiro or Curse Arm? I mean, if Kojiro NPs, actually, that would enable crits, but... do I cope? I can't be worth it. I can't cope scope Kojiro, that cannot be worth it. It is enough stars between that and his second skill, but that's too unreliable. And I'm trying to win on my first try. So on my first try, I want the most reliable setup possible. Go Angra. You know what? Technically, Angra is within the rules, and actually, Angra would be the best. Like 100%. Like with these restrictions, Angra would be the best. I'm 100% serious about that. Because I can't summon Darius, we can't summon Salami, I can't even summon Ku. I think Angra would absolutely be the best. Although in a way, he technically doesn't make the rules because he's not. What did I say? What's the title say? Bronze. Friend supports only. So no, he's not a bronze. He's not a bronze. He's just shadow black void stuff. So that doesn't count. Yeah, and cause I worded it that way to be clear that we can't use Grailed units. So yeah, no, Angra does not make the cut. Okay, well, because technically he's a 0-star, but he has the stat line of a 2-star. So most people consider him a 2-star, but in no world is he a bronze. So. Although again, it's cosmetic. So I mean, you could if you're doing like a YouTube video where you're keeping it bronze, I don't care if you use Angra at all. But we're on a technicality here. We're gonna say no. I'm thinking Asterios. I really think Asterios might be the best option. What's the skill ranks in my Asterios? I know his second skill is 10, but I'm not sure I actually bothered with his other skills. Alright, what's his... He's 5, 10, 4. Let me look at his skill mats. I've been wanting to level my Asterios' skills anyway, just for funsies. If they're harmless, I will level them now. Hero proofs, twice. That's not harmless. I'm gonna have to say no on that right now. Ooh, alright, what's Caligula? He might be 10-10-10 actually. Why can't I find my Caligula? My Caligula is 989. And I actually it's 999. I have the lures, but would not be particularly wise right now, because I haven't decided which account is grailing Caligula. If I was going to grail him on my main, I would give him the lures, no problem, but I haven't decided where I'm going to grail him. This is tough. This is actually, for all the night boss fights, this has been the hardest one for me to decide what to summon. This is nasty. Let me look at Asterios' numbers. Like, what's his absorb and stuff right now? Like, if I don't level up his skills. His absorption is tied to skill rank. And because he's a berserker, you really would want to level that. So he'd be pretty shaky on being able to land crits, but then he'd have a 40% defense up for 3 turns. You can manipulate who the boss attacks with the max health thing and then taunts. I don't know, maybe it's Caligula. Maybe it's Caligula. This is fucked up, man. Spartacus gets his NP really easy, but it's AoE, and it's only gonna do like 40k. I don't think that's worth it in the long run. Let me look at Caligula's raw numbers here. If Asterios was 10-10-10, I think it'd be Asterios. Because again, I just do not have the stuff to enable Caligula. But because Caligula's 999, he might be the way. Yeah, we'll go Caligula. This is crazy. Oh man, chat. Oh, if I unlock Caligula's 3rd passive, he gets crit resist against sabers, and although Lancelot works like a ruler here, he's technically a saber. It's so good, guys. Totally worth the coins. It's not worth the coins. Alright, I'm putting Caligula up. I'm committing. I love how you have to go forward to go backwards, but if you're not on that screen and you click that button, you actually start the stage. It's just the stupidest fucking UI, dude. And I know for a fact I'm not the only person that has ever accidentally... Oh look, I already bought one of his passives, and it wasn't his 3rd one. What a shock. Sadly, Caligula is actually awesome with that 2nd passive. That's great for him. But it's useless in this fight because the boss is debuff immune. Because they buffed Caligula's NP, so now also has defense down on it. So it'd be great for this fight, but it don't do shit. I have no idea what the strategy is. I'm not gonna lie, I have absolutely no idea what our strategy is. If we bring George, there's no world where we're critting because we just don't have any star gen. We don't have anniversary blonde or any of that, so we're gonna have to like vanilla bruiser this down. That kind of makes me want to not use Hans unless we use Hans for... Okay, I think David is good here because David can tank with the 1st skill when you know he's gonna get attacked and he has the higher HP. So I like that. Maybe we don't want George then. Maybe not on the start anyway. I don't want him to attack Caligula for a while. I want like 2 things. See, she's not as good as normal because she can't charm. Caligula does not have divinity, unfortunately. I could turn him into a dragon. That's unironically okay. That's actually pretty good for this team. I'm not seeing another unit that could do that kind of damage. And then he can tank okay. Can I start without David? Is this the I don't know about that. See ya, Ari. Thanks for hanging out. Am I really considering this right now? I need more starting NP options. So George has more health than Caligula. That's good. So you could go a while and then grab the NP with the taunt. The problem is my god, we have no buffs for Caligula here. I'd love to start with David, because then you could cast the evade behind the taunt walls, and then it takes forever for Caligula to lose the evade. But I don't think I can put him on the front. I think he's good in the back, though. I think he's a good cleanup unit here. Maybe Mash next? Man, I want Star Bomb. If I could just crit, Caligula could delete this. Okay, chat, I'm gonna do one thing that I actually haven't done this entire time, although some units have had command codes on them just coincidentally. I'm going to give Caligula the buff success chance command code. I don't think that's unreasonable. It's still RNG, it just cuts out some of the RNG. But I'm not gonna give him like, you know, anti, you know, servant damage or anti-mail damage. We're not gonna do that. We're trying, you know, keeping it simple here. But if I can have less Imperial privilege fail, I'm okay with that. It's probably, no, it's not equipped to anybody. That's kind of surprising to me. Okay, and command codes generally update between screens, so I don't have to go back. Chen Gong has taunt, he has Buster up. Okay, I like that. I almost wonder if Chen Gong would be better on the front than Caligula to just buff Siegfried. I'm worried when George dies, Caligula is just gonna get absolutely deleted. I mean, I can do the taunt. I don't think I want this then. I don't think I want him to live that long. Because his health is so low. Well, I mean, if Caligula face tanks one hit... Oh, this is risky, but I'm gonna try it. Maybe I give that to David. My god, he'd be tanky here. You know what? I'm doing it. It'll take him forever to NP, but I think that's okay. Is this the team? Oh boy. Oh boy. David, you're gonna have to really impress us here. Am I about to click the start button? I guess. I'm worried. How much health does this boss have? Tell you what, Rabbit. Am I about to walk into a meme? 378. Well, it's not too bad. Double Buster already. Okay, Siegfried gets attacked first, so I'm gonna wait to taunt. I think I cast Caligula. I don't cast his second skill, but I think I cast his first too. I think it's worth it. But I need art cards though. I think I do it like that. I wanted the Buster Chain, but I think this is good enough. Not the stick! Oof. I think I heal again. I'm gonna buy time. Siegfried's ready, George isn't. Weird turn, but George will get a lot of NP from being attacked here in a minute. That's a lot of crit up. Ooh, that is not what I wanted to see. Look at those buffs. Okay, Mr. Spriggan. Now George is probably just gonna get absolutely deleted. Please don't proc my guts. Especially on your first hit, because then we might actually die. Oh no. Oof. I think I have to, well, I don't have to evade. The thing is, okay, I think I let George die. Chat, I think we might lose. I'm not gonna lie, I think we might lose. This might be where we fall. That has to do like 14k to be the right pick. You keep saying this, and well, it's been pretty close, but I mean, this looks way worse than some of the other stages have. I mean, he's at 319k right now. Like, we're not getting anything done, and we're already about to have George die. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm gonna do my best, but this is not looking good. This bodes for death. We're gonna need to get some pretty lucky Caligula Brave Chains. Okay, see, the problem is he can hit Caligula this turn, because he can get Siegfried low enough that he'll target switch. I could lower Caligula's health, but then I should have done his second skill. We had buff success chance. I can do buff success chance now, and then okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this, and oh fuck, Qingong's heal is maximum HP up, which actually makes Leonidas hit him. I might have to RNG on Golden or Imperial Privilege. I wanted to use that buff success chance, then use it, but I think I might need to just throw it out, because then I'll have a lot of defense up. So if I get smacked, I won't die. Yes! Oh, always lucky! Oh yes, okay, that's good. That helps. Double buster up, attack up. We need some numbers here. Wait. Oh right, it's because of the max HP up. Fuck! I don't know if I should have cast that. Okay, he might still hit Caligula. He'll Siegfried first, but it might be enough. I think he can take it though. With these defense buffs, I think he can take it. Dude, if he dies though, I'm in so much trouble. I have like, oh boy. I mean, maybe here's my, okay. My front is doing way worse than I thought it would, but I'm hoping David is just so good that he's gonna bail me out here. Okay, perfect. I can't really taunt yet. Do I? I'm thinking I might Brave Chain on Siegfried. Could do the defense down. Because right now, we will get hit. Like, they're absolutely... Caligula's getting hit this turn. If I don't do the defense down, he can probably still take it though, but I think he can still take another hit. I think Caligula's card is still worth picking here. Okay, I'm glad he cast a skill. That's good. Oh! I forgot. I totally forgot about that. That's good. That means the next 2 attacks go into Qin Gong. That's great. The thing is, if he attacks 3 times though... No, if he attacks 3 times, yeah, we're good. He cannot hit Caligula here, no matter what he does. Actually, that's not true. He could quick charge, and his NP hits things at random. But we're gonna pretend we're not living in that world. So I'm gonna use Caligula's NP to just get a Brave Chain. That's a voice line. This man has 4 NP voice lines. I tell you, his voice actor just... You know, he has way more voice lines for a lot of his stuff than most characters, and I bet you it's because in the booth, he just does so much stuff that they're like, just use it. Just use it, right? So, like, he has, like, how many bronzes have 4 voice lines for their NP, right? Like, Jesus. He's a great voice actor, and he puts a lot of effort into his characters, and he always researches them and tries to, like, really understand them and stuff. He always goes above and beyond. Look at all that no effect. Okay, now he's going to attack Caligula. However, his first action is the NP, which is random. I think we taunt here. Do I just taunt Qin Gong? I don't even know how, but the start was so bad, but we are doing better now. Just Caligula's slowly chipping him away. I've been able to protect Caligula longer than I thought. You know what? I actually think we would have lost by now if we didn't land Imperial Privilege. I think that's why we're winning. Because we had Imperial Privilege, which is a huge defense up, and we had Qin Gong's defense up. That's why we're living. Because Caligula took multiple hits, and I do not think he could have taken those hits if we didn't land that. So, Imperial Privilege, we're plot armoring, is what I'm saying. Wow, he slightly has more health than Caligula, so I think his next attack actually goes to... So he'll NP at random, and then he would attack Siegfried, but I think I'm going to taunt Qin Gong. I think that's the right thing to do. I guess I do that, because then he's more likely to live for 2 turns and cover Caligula longer. Like, he's just tanking for us, and then we can live to do our second skill to get the Buster up again. We have Caligula's Buster up. I think we could get a double Buster turn soon, because the deck's gonna shuffle, so I'm gonna wait. This is turning around now. This is looking better now. We got just so much more value out of Qin Gong than I thought we would. Like, that was crazy. Because not only did his defense up just help us so much, but the Kenneth champion really helped here, right? That was super impactful. Like, they bought us 2 turns. It literally bought us 2 turns of Caligula cannot get hit. That was amazing. And then the taunt. Like, Qin Gong got us, like, just so... He got us a turn or 2 of value, easily 2 turns of value out of his second skill, the defense up. It made Caligula tanky enough that he tanked things he couldn't tank. So that bought us, like, 2 turns. And then the Kenneth thing bought us 2 turns. And then the taunt bought us a turn. And then also he gave us a little bit of damage. Now, that didn't buy us a turn, but a bit. So Qin Gong got us over 5 turns of value. That is huge. So Qin Gong was absolutely phenomenal here. I think we're good. I think we're good now. I think we're probably gonna die, but I think what's left now, David can handle. I'm pretty sure. So 1 turn, and then we can do Siegfried's NP. So don't use it here. Besides, I can Buster Chain without it, so save it for when we actually need it. Caligula might die here. I don't think so, though, because he has... Oh, we got upgraded MASH now, so I think he's okay. Because first attack will hit Siegfried, and maybe second attack, so I think he's okay. This is looking good. I wonder if I can keep Caligula alive. That would be very satisfying if I can. I'm really enjoying this gameplay, honestly, like, the like, because you know who he's gonna attack. Oh yeah, fuck, I did that wrong, I forgot. That's okay though, that doesn't hurt me. There's no reason to do Imperial Privilege right now. I don't want the extra health, and I don't have the buff success chance. He's gonna attack Siegfried, then he's gonna attack Mash. And he'd probably attack Siegfried again. So, yeah, we're looking good. Woo! I think Rabbit was right, maybe I was worried for nothing. I don't know, I mean, actually, no, I was not. I know this game. I know what I'm talking about. If we did not land that fucking Imperial Privilege defense up, Caligula could absolutely be dead right now. And I would have had to burn through Qin Gong in a pretty suboptimal way with the taunt and everything. And I mean, I'm not sure we would have lost. I am not sure we would have lost, but we could be in way worse shape than we are right now. Like, David would have had to come out way sooner. But it is okay. Like, we're totally fine now. I overreacted a little bit, but okay, I get the buff success chance here. All right, he's gonna attack Mash? Oh, he'll attack Lancelot again because he just barely has more health. So I still don't Imperial Privilege. This is good. Yeah, his normal attacks, whoever has the highest HP, and his NP though is random. But taunts override the gimmick. Yeah, it's not a coincidence that Caligula is alive right at this far in. Okay, so now he's gonna attack Lancelot, and then he'll attack Caligula. Mash is low enough now that he won't attack her. So I might as well do this. Because I got the buff success chance. We still didn't land the defense buff, but okay, and we'll do that. So the NP can hit whoever, but then he is going to attack Caligula, but he won't be able to kill him here. I would love a hard mode version of this boss. Give him a break bar, you know, maybe up his damage a bit and that kind of thing. But I think his gimmick is very fun and it allows you to do some weird things. I mean, like, there's no other boss like this where you can, like, really plan and get a lot of value out of your, like, defensive abilities and stuff. Yeah, we had an 80% chance to land that defense buff, and we didn't get it. Okay, see, now we have David, and so we're good. Now we're super good, because it's gonna take him a lot longer to get through David, and then we have the evade. Yeah, we're totally fine. We're super safe. And then when we finally run out of options, we can then invulnerability. Oh god, I just misclicked. Oh god, I just misclicked. It's not gonna matter because he's so low in health, but I meant to click this. I was gonna say, when we finally got low on value, and I know Caligula's gonna get blasted, I could invulnerability Caligula. And then he'll always attack Caligula on that turn because his health won't drop any, because he's invulnerable, right? Thank goodness that we win, because I'm like throwing over here. Because that was not a good time to mash taunt. You should mash taunt when you're, like, finally, you know, running out of options. Like, right, I wouldn't want mash to get hit here because David is so tanky. Not necessary, but I think we got it. 24k, all right. That was kind of hard though. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think I did bring the right setup to capitalize on the gimmick. So we could have lost that if we were stupider. Oh my god, it wasn't too bad. Caligula did better than I thought. At first, I guess we were just getting bad luck with when the damage was popping up. Because we weren't getting anything done at the start there, but it started going a lot better. And then ultimately what really changed it was Qin Gong. Qin Gong just got so much value there. Like, that was nutty. I mean, he got was like 5.2 turns of value. I mean, that's nuts. George didn't get us nearly that much. Well, George did give us some damage though, which was nice. Okay, so the next big one I think is Ozzy and Nidochris within the Demon Pillar, which, if the 1 to 3 star account is anything to go by, will be harder than the night fights. but we shall see. I suspect it will be because I don't have a lot of knight stuff leveled. Chat, I might cheat off stream and I might farm just a little bit to get Ushi up. Cause I don't know about that demon pillar, man. I don't know about that. We'll see. We got Stheno. She's okay for that fight. Oh crap! Is it like right now? Let me look. I want to know when we're gonna fight it. Let's see. Main quest, Camelot, chapter 15. Wow, it's only 17 chapters. Jeez. Okay, so you fight Da Vinci? What? I guess like training or whatever. So it's not this chapter, but this chapter's about to end. It's the next chapter. Yeah, you fight Chris, and then the demon god, and then Ozzy with Chris. Oh boy. So yeah, it's all pretty much all boss fights now. There's one more stage of filler. Like this fight right here is technically a boss fight, and then it's filler, and then it's boss fight, boss fight, boss fight, boss fight, boss fight, and then Enforcement Knights, which is kind of filler, but good filler. Then more Enforcement Knights, then more Enforcement Knights, then kind of boss fight, and then boss fight, boss fight, boss fight, boss fight, and it's over. So almost everything from now on is boss fights. There's this stage right here is trash, and it's all boss fights and Enforcement Knights. Oh boy. We'll do, I'll at least get this stage out of the way. I might save the rest of this then for the next stream, just because that's some real content right there. Like the next stream's gonna be really action-packed then. And I'd like to maybe play some Tales of Arise tonight, because I got some stuff I want to do with friends today, so I don't want to stream till like the wee hours of the morning, but I do want to get a little maybe Tales of Arise in, so I haven't played it in quite a while. So this is like the last trash stage in Camelot, so kind of glad to have that out of the way. We'll do the votes again at the end because you fight all the bosses again, and some of them, like Mordred's a little bit harder, Tristan's a little bit harder, but Gwain's actually easier. So imagine if I fail against Gwain though, because maybe I might bring the wrong setup, I might just suck, right? We'll see. We could ban Paris too if we want to. That's a way to make it spicy. That'll make it spicy as hell, is if we say no Paris, because then I can summon Arash. And that's not so good. That is a hell of a way to make Gwain super scary again. You want points ban supports like David? I can't summon David though. Like it has to be a bronze. I mean, you could ban my David, I guess, but I don't think I'd let chat do that. And then I would definitely summon Paris. But it's true, the way to make it harder is to ban David, but that's not really that's not an option right now. Right now the bans have been like, you can ban a bronze, because I'm only summoning bronze. But if we ban Paris, it will be way harder, because then I'll only have David, and then like Arash, and that's not great. Alright, let's go Spartacus. So I didn't even think about it, but Caligula, if he lands his defense buff, is really good for that Lancelot fight though with Qin Gong. That combination of his giant defense buff and then Qin Gong's defense buff and then the damage cut, that was a tanky berserker right there. Only for a few turns, but that's all you needed. However, if he had failed the defense buff, then it would have been terrible. Wait, green, you support Archer. Wait, so that would ban even Arash, right? That's not the question to have. The question to have is if I can use Paris, because it has to be bronze. So if you use Paris, then my only option is Arash. Basically, do you want me to use Arash or a support, right? Like a 2-star support, because I might do that instead, because if there's no Paris, then that's what it comes down to. That's gonna make Gwain so much harder. I'm telling you, Gwain without Paris will be so. It's not like Paris is like the best archer or anything, but he's the only DPS I can summon. He's the only thing that meets the criteria. What do I use here? Because we already beat Gwaine. We already beat the harder Gwaine with, you know, bronze support, Paris, right? We already won, and that one's harder. So I don't mind doing something stupid for the easier one, try to make it harder again. Like it's fine. I guess that's fine, just because there's assassins here. On DPS, let's go. Bond. Oh, I'm getting short of breath again. Bad timing. Bro, speaking of this, so I've got head explosion syndrome, right? And it is such. I swear, I feel like there's like a sentient force in charge of it. It is so dumb. So, like, because, you know, I'm older and like I know what head explosion syndrome is, right? It's harder for it to like mess with me because like I know what it is. Because like for those who don't know, at least for me, it's different for different people. But for me, it's like when I'm sleeping or trying to sleep, or like, you know, it's always related to sleep, and that's universal for everybody. But for me, what it is it sounds like explosions, right? But they sound real. They don't sound like they're in my head. They just, it sounds like something crashed through a window, or a lightning bolt hit your house, or you know, Cairo dropped his Cheerios, right? It sounds completely external, and it sounds completely real and just completely convincing. And it's just like a loud bang, and then sometimes like mini bangs, right? Just stuff like that. And it's always, but for everybody, it's always related to when you're sleeping. And for some people, once you know that it exists and you know that it's mental, for some people, it stops happening, right? Once they're aware of it and they figured it out, it's because it's a mental thing, right? And because of that, some people like just get over it. And once I figured out what it was and I knew what it was, it doesn't happen as often, but it still happens. And I swear, it's like there's a mini, you know, like Cairo in my brain that's like strategizing to how to fool me, right? Because if it happens sometimes and it's so obvious that, because now that I know what it is, it's like, oh yeah, there's clearly not a crash happening. It's just head explosion syndrome. You know, I can just ignore it and it'll go away and I'll be fine, right? But like today, so I'm sleeping and I suddenly wake up to a bang, like just such a loud crash, right? And now I might assume, oh, it's head explosion syndrome, right? But then so I wake up and then I hear it's raining and I hear like, you know, really faint thunder in the background. I'm like, oh shit, did like a lightning bolt, you know, did a lightning bolt hit? So I have to get up and, you know, make sure everything's okay, right? And I'm like, huh, I mean, I guess the lightning maybe did hit nearby because I can hear thunder in the background, you know, mildly. So I guess this is what it was. Okay, but you know, nothing happened. Go back to bed. And then I start hearing more explosions like crazy, and then I'm like, oh, it's fucking head explosion syndrome. And like, so the only reason it got me to get up and wake up and, you know, waste my time is because I thought it might, you know, normally like, oh, it's just the head explosion syndrome, you know, just ignore it. But no, it's like, oh, there was a thunderstorm going on, so that crash might have been real. And I actually didn't even think it was, you know, the head thing because there was a thunderstorm going on, right? And I think that's why though. It's kind of interesting. It's like, because your brain thinks, oh, it's anticipating, oh, there might be noise that could disturb your sleeping. Oh, that would be bad, right? And you get like anxiety or something, right? And you're like, your subconscious, and that's where it comes from or something. It's weird. Scientists still actually don't know exactly why it happens. It's a very bizarre and weird thing. I remember, dude, when it first happened to me, I had no idea what was going on, right? Because like I said, it sounds, now I know what it is, and it's not even a big deal. Like, it literally is not that big of a deal. It's actually kind of funny, and it's kind of fun to try to combat it. But when it first happened to me, I'm like, because it sounds real. I mean, it sounds completely real. I would have never thought it was in my head, right? It sounds so external. And but obviously when you look around your house and stuff, you can clearly see, you know, nothing crashed through my wall. You know, a plane didn't hit my attic, right? You know, none of that happened because it's loud. It's fucking loud. So I was like, am I going nuts? Like, am I delusional? Am I hallucinating? Like, what's going on here, right? But then I looked it up, and it's actually a pretty, you know, it's a known thing. It's so mysterious, but it's a known thing. You're not crazy. You know, it's not a sign of you're not getting brain cancer. You're not, you know, it's nothing like that, right? There's no like other side effects to it. So it's just, you know, explosions in your head for some reason. The most surreal moment in my life was waking up and seeing the bright red sky outside. I thought chaos was invading. Dude, I would not have believed that if you didn't like, if people didn't like send pictures, because like Persona sent pictures, you sent pictures and stuff, you know, it's a well-documented thing. But like, that was insane. California was just like on fire. Has you ever played, you know, Dark Souls 3? When you get really far in the game, that the sky just like turns like evil, you know, like orange, like, you know, chaos. That was California's, like the entire sky, just like all the time. Like it was just this orange insanity, right? So yeah, I can't even imagine what that was like if you just wake up and you hadn't heard anything about it yet and you just see that. Like it's like, am I in an anime right now? Like what is going on here? But California is the Dark Souls of real life. It's kind of getting that way. It's next, dude, I'm telling you, California's next summer is going to be awful. I mean, it's going to be so awful. Yeah, I would not want any part of that. Yeah, I don't know if you can Google it, but you can probably find videos and screenshots and stuff now of what that was. I don't know what you'd call it. I don't know, California Death Sky. I don't know. Ash Sky, yeah, pretty much. I think I NP here. I'll tell you, Spartacus has been a blessing for getting through these trash stages. That's why having your own Arash and your own Spartacus is very handy. Oh yeah, you could not pay me to go to California because they're like first on the chopping block with like global warming and everything, so fuck that. They will be the first to be sacrificed. Oh, I forgot this is a boss. Oh crap, I don't have a good DPS for a caster. Probably shouldn't have NP'd with Spartacus there, and I probably should have already cast this skill. I didn't think I was going to need it though. I was getting lazy. That guy's a danger tag, but she's the bigger problem. Alright, David, you're the DPS now. The world is going to take the best place first. I know they're taking in and out. That's the problem. I've still never had in and out one of these days. I cannot. I've literally watched videos and I still do not understand, right? Why the company for in and out has not expanded to the West Coast. It makes no sense. And their excuse is like, oh, quality control. That's stupid, right? There's so many companies that can have very good quality control and still expand to a coast. Like, whoop-de-doo. It's one thing, like, if you move country, I get that, right? It's not hard to expand into the West Coast. That's ridiculous. I honestly do, and a lot of people, I've seen a lot of, like, business people, like, they don't get why they're not expanding. It does not really make sense. It's just like, they're like East Coast elitists, man. They want you to move to the East Coast and, you know, die in a forest fire so you can have in and out. Because like everyone on the West Coast is curious, right? They just want to know, right? You know, even if it's not they're going to be their favorite food or whatever, they want to know, right? I want to know, right? And I don't get to have any. Let's see. I want to get. I guess I have to get David's NP, so we'll do the. Do I do the Archchain though? Because I want Hans's too. Yeah. Doing a Buster card would have been nice though, it adds up. There are various things on the West Coast that are on the East Coast, but most of those things aren't any good. Like I was informed by Cairo that where he lives, there are no White Castles. Like at all. And I'm like, you can have them. Like, who the hell likes White Castle, right? They are just greasy garbage. They are so. I remember when I was young, my father, because you know I didn't really get to know my dad until I was older, and you know he found out I'd never even had White Castle, and he was like, "Okay, they're not good, but you have to at least try them once." And so I did, and then I was like, "Okay, I'm glad I tried that, and now I'm never having it again." And that's how it's been. I've never had White Castle again, and I don't want to. They are fucking terrible. Wait, you don't have Dunkin' Donuts? The up and left. You want me to try it? I mean, I tried it once, so when you visit, you have to try it once too, right? It's only fair. And I'll do you a solid, Cairo, and I'll eat it too when we do that. Just, you know, because suffering loves company, apparently. But then I'll never eat it again. Okay, it's David time. What's the worst thing you can get on the White Castle menu? I don't look at me, because I only had like what I had that one time, so that's up to chat. I don't know, maybe a salad? That'd probably be better, honestly. Even if their salad sucks, it's probably better than eating that greasy crap. Alright. Hans land. Maybe I overcharge Hans, actually, because I don't have a lot of confidence in him landing the... yeah, fuck it. No faith in the attack buff. Yeah, I guess that'll be the goal. We'll try to order the most cursed thing on the menu. I mean, we'll get some of the normal sandwiches. You can't go to White Castle and not eat their typical sandwich. Anyone in chat like? Does anyone in chat like? Because someone must like them because they make money, right? They're a decently profitable company. They've been around for a long time. So clearly people go there for some reason. So somebody has to like White Castle, but I don't get it. I like them. Okay, well we got somebody. I mean, good for you, right? I'm not gonna tell people not to go there if they like it, but I absolutely hate it. It has been a while though. I'll try to be open-minded when I try it again, but I don't expect to be impressed. Let's see. We almost got Spartacus in P. He still has guts. That's good. So we just do that. Whittling down the boss here. Never had White Castle either. Yeah, apparently they're not in as many places as I thought, so. It looks like a lot of people in chat actually don't have it, so. Explains why Cairo doesn't have it over there. And one turn, we get the Buster up. I'd have to evade though. I would much rather evade David. David is so much better in the long run because his second skill will come back. Let's see if David can face tank it. He's not counterclassing, but let's see with double defense buff. We have 70% defense buff. Shame I don't have a craft essence with defense on it. Maybe he can face tank it. Come on, David. Impress us. Don't get hit by this one, though. Okay, that's good. Can he do it, chat? It's AoE. She doesn't have attack up. There's no buffs, actually, right now. She gets that one, but nothing you can do about that. Well, actually, buff block. This account couldn't do anything about that. I couldn't see the first number. That might have been 11k, and if so, you're so dead. Yep, that was probably 11k. God damn it. Close. And if he was counterclassing, it'd have been easy. He'd have been totally fine. Okay, we might really pay for that decision. I wish I had Chin Gong back here, because then it wouldn't have been such a bad decision. That's such a good voice line, though. Like, no one can deny that voice line. We're gonna win. I have no doubt about us winning. It's just a matter of... is it good or not? Am I playing as well as I could? You know, that kind of thing. 53k, though. That's alright. Ooh, Ushi showing up with that level 40 damage. Look at Spartacus, man. Now he gets guts again. It's like he's a good low star. Who knew? There's never enough armored core. I don't know what Tusk's opinion on White Castle is. He actually just got home. If my door was open, I'd actually yell and ask him, but I don't think he'd hear me if I tried it right now. And actually, here's a travesty. So Tusk. Actually, I'm not. I was about to like dox myself and Tusk. I'm not gonna do that, so I'm just gonna kill that sentence. Tusk exists. There we go. There's our sentence. He's actually a giant demon black boar. That's what Tusk is. Knew it. Yeah. Yeah, I hope they make a new Armored Core game too, but wait, what is this stage then? I'm disoriented. Oh, this is the one trash stage. Right, so it was boss fight, then trash stage, not trash stage, then boss fight. So this is the last trash stage of Camelot, pretty much. There's some Enforcement Knights fights, but those are only like semi-trash stages. They're almost real content. So let's do this, and then I think we'll play some Tales of Arise, and then we'll wrap up. Kind of crazy how long it's been since I played Tales of Arise. I did not even intend that. I kind of just got caught up with Arc Knights and such. I've been happy though with Protoku's performance when he's just level 51. It hasn't been bad. Any way to get damage here? Could just do Baldy. You know what? Oh, his stats though. Oh lord. Look how far behind he is, Protoku. Well, I mean, he's counterclassing. I mean, I could just do that, though. She has so much higher stats than him, and then she gets the attack up for the team, so I think we go with that instead. One day we'll level Baldy. He'll be our second Lancer just cuz. I don't know why, but we're doing it. And then George, Ushi. That's fine. Okay. Shouldn't need CEs. I wish I had that Rin craft essence limit broken. Yeah, Protoku gets most of his stats at by like 56, I think. It's like 56 or 57. Overall, but you can round it to 60. Once he's 60, he's pretty much done with his stats. He barely gets anything from 60 to 70, and it's for a new account, it's actually pretty handy. Hi, Beastly. So I had a thought because Cairo was doing his tier list. I was kind of going through like why Fujino is so good. Because I've seen some people be like, you know, yeah, she's good, but you know, you don't fight Sabers and Berserkers that much, and then you have like Hercules against literally everything. So, you know, why does she keep up with that kind of thing? And here's why. Now, I actually do think Hercules should be rated higher than Fujino in overall usefulness, just because Hercules is so broken with his new third skill, and he's useful in just every bit of content ever. However, here's the thing about Fujino, and this is really good. You get so much boom for your buck with her, because if you are fighting a Saber, she'll always win, always. If you're fighting a Berserker, she'll pretty much always win. She's amazing for that. When you're forced to fight at neutral, she's always one of the best picks ever. And then here's the thing. Let's say you're fighting Demeter, right? So Fujino is not counterclassing in any way. Yes, Herc is probably a bit better there, but Fujino is still really good. Like a 10-10-10 level 80 Fujino is pretty comparable to just like the best in slot budget unit for that fight, if that makes any sense, right? Even though she's at neutral, she's basically like another Ushi, right? The amount of value, like the amount of damage and stuff that she will do, she's about equaling another Ushi. And the thing is, she always will get one of her niches. Like in the Demeter fight, Demeter has a big defense up. Fujino has armor ignore. And she also does buff block so you can stop it for your teammates so she doesn't get the damage cut. Right? She's always offering some kind of value, and because she is so tanky and does solid damage, and she lives so long to keep doing that damage, by the time like she's done, she will have done about as much value as a typical budget unit, like Protoku versus an archer, or Ushi versus a caster, right? She's always doing roughly that kind of damage, so she's a backup unit for almost any fight ever in the game. And then if the R you know, a lance, and then she's extra good against assassins because she's the legendary, you know, Ushi for casters, right? We're always talking about how casters need like their Ku, their 100 face, their Ushi. But Fuji knows that, right? Fujino can basically be that if you know, because you don't actually have a caster one. So when you fight assassins, she's a great option. So she's a good option in almost any circumstance, and then she's God mode against sabers, and very good against berserkers when you have to fight at neutral, and so then she's just amazing, and then her niches just come up all the time. So I think it's easy to explain why Fujino is so highly rated by a lot of people. But I do think Herc is better, because Herc is like a lot of what I just said applies to Herc too, and then it's just literally every class under the sun. However, there easily are times where Fujino is more impactful than Hercules. However, there's also a lot of times where Hercules is more impactful than Fujino. So. But I mean, we showed it on the Herc account. We went out of our way not to use Herc unless the fight was really hard, just because we didn't want to make everything boring. But did you all notice on the Hercules account, you know, every single time we green lit Hercules, every time we one-shot the boss. Every fucking time. Anytime we struggled with the boss, it was because it was an easier boss that we said no Hercules for, right? Herc, he one-shot Demeter, Zeus. Like, he just murdered everything, right? There's a reason for that. It's like he's good or something. We can kill some stuff here. But yeah, there's definitely variance. You know, like apples and oranges. I have both of them at level 100, so I win either way. Yeah. And I was like, it don't even matter. I'm just gonna murder them all one way or the other. I actually could have done her first skill, Gareth's, and then we might have crit and killed 2 there. And I wanted to kill 2 because I'm trying to get more targets out so I can actually NP something worth NPing. 40k, good enough. Holy crap, she actually landed her drain. Okay, well these 2 are dead. Yeah, I knew several people that had a really hard time getting just like NP2 Fujino. And Fury from our Discord, he had been saving up free to play for a long time. Like he'd saved up a huge amount of SQ. And he got NP5 Void Cheeky before he got NP5 Fujino. Which now he actually got pretty lucky with getting the Void Cheekies, but still that was pretty rough. And then I remember when Fujino came to NA, so Beastly already had her, you know, maxed out on JP. When she came to NA, in one of Beastly's like really early rolls, right? He just started rolling. He'd only done like 1 or 2 10 rolls. He got her like NP2 or 3 in one roll. I can't remember which one it was. Oh yeah, you're right, there it is. Yep, NP3. So Beastly was rewarded for all of his dedication to Fujino there. Like, just, I mean, that's crazy. Because again, that wasn't after, because if you roll, let's say you roll like 3000 SQ, right? Of course you're gonna have a lucky streak in there somewhere, right? But like Beastly had just started rolling and he got that. So I was like, oh, okay. Dude, Maniac, I love that emote. It's so good. I like how I had to ask you like why you posted it, but now every time you post it now I get it. Why am I bothering to make stars? Like, it's gonna die next turn anyway, I think. I need to level up my Proto-Ku though. Do we need him for Camelot? I mean, Babylon. I think there's a few beast fights, but not a lot. But it'd be nice to get him even to 60, just to get his NP buff. And then again, I don't really need to level him to 70 for a while, because of the way his stat curve is. Actually, we didn't do as much damage there as I was thinking. On the off chance that it lives. Actually, it's not even that unlikely that it lives. Our crit chances are really random here. 70, 50, 50. Ugh, wow. If we had triple crit, we would have killed it, but double crit wasn't enough. There's a few fights in Babylonia where the enemy is beast, but I don't think a lot of them are the hard ones. Like the Tiamat's kiddos, they're not that kind of beast, right? They're like class beast. However, you do have to fight at neutral a few times, and although Proto-Ku is not as good as Ku at neutral, Proto-Ku is still above the curve. He really is. Like, Proto-Ku is above average when it comes to it, when you have to fight at neutral with his NP buff. Before his NP buff, he was still above the curve, but barely. He was only a little bit above average, I would say. And he was kind of falling behind as other 3-stars had been buffed. But now that he's got his NP buff, and he's even got the anti-armor and stuff, he's looking pretty good. Okay, I honestly want to keep playing, but I do want to get some Tales of Arise in. So we're going to wrap up FGO for now. I'll play some Tales of Arise for a little bit. And then tomorrow's stream should be good. There's pretty much nothing but boss fights for the rest of Camelot. It's all Demon God, Ozzy, Nieder, Chris, then the Knights of the Round again, and then Rongo Bongo. So that's going to be a really good one. Now Gorgon's not a beast. She's like demonic beast or some nonsense. But so Taiga is some of those like hyper colored like lions. You know, some of those are, and there's a few fights with them that are a little annoying. So he might be a quality of life thing, where if I level him, it'll just make it a bit smoother to murder some of that stuff. But that's about it. I don't think we really need him. What we actually need for Babylonia is Arash and Spartacus. That's how you make. Especially Arash, that makes Corrupted Ushi better, and Corrupted Ushi actually on accounts as weak as this are often pretty tough. Tales of Shitty Story. Unfortunately, I wish that wasn't the case. It's because it's not even. You can have a story. I think we all have enjoyed an anime or a game or something where it's not like the story is super in depth and amazing, just like super great, you know. But it's like it's still fun, right? And it's like still a fun story. Tales of Arise is not a fun story. It's just not. Like, that is... I like Tales of Arise. There's some good things in it. You know, I've enjoyed the gameplay. It's not perfect. It needs to be refined. But there are a lot of positives. But the story is just... It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And it's a real letdown, honestly. And I wish that wasn't the case. Because I like the premise just fine. And I like the concepts for the characters. But the way the characters are written... and like what actually, how their roles in the story and stuff, it's just stupid. I mean, it's just straight stupid, and it's annoying because I want to like the cast, right? When I saw the cast, like just the picture of the cast, I was like, oh, you know, this could be good. And I was rooting for it, but it's been very disappointing. I'm not sure it's the worst Tales game in terms of story, but it's up there. Like, I think it's quite bad, and there's plenty that are significantly better. That was weird. I brought up Steam to boot up Tales of Arise, and I had a giant text window from Cairo Shoot, literally in full screen for some reason, take up my entire monitor. But Cairo didn't even say anything. It was just a blank chat window for Cairo, and it was my entire monitor. That was kind of wild. All right, let me change my stream title, all that stuff. But for those that are just here for FGO, thanks a lot for hanging out, and we will do more soon. I've actually been enjoying Camelot. It's a little slow, a bit more trash than I would like, but it's been good. I'm definitely liking the idea of nerfing ourselves more for the second Gwaine fight. You know, you want those Gwaine fights to be, you know, you want to have to really min-max and play properly. All right, I'm gonna reset my stream real fast. That way, the VODs are separated, especially with these Camelot stuff. Okay, hello? My controller is not being detected. There we go, that's better. All right, I'll be back in just a second. Oh God, not DMCA though.